Appalled Biden had classified documents in his garage. And not a big fan of the Corvette either. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. A choice maker, a mandate. You get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sharing with a friend. Good to see you, Adam Ray.
Great to see you, Ace. And thanks for the wedding gift. Mazel tov. Gonna pour me one here. It's 1 o'clock somewhere.
A little tequila.
Oh, boy.
Something to take the edge off. Chris Maxipata in studio as well.
Hi, Adams.
Hey, bud.
All right. We got some stuff left over from the Golden Globe Awards. And I have
Did you watch it?
You know,
or did you skim?
Well, here's the thing. I skimmed, but no, I thought I watched it. You know, the problem with these 3-hour award shows is you go, did you watch Golden Globes? And I go, yeah, I watched Golden Globes. And they go, how about Jim Carrey? And you go, what?
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
He punched out the chick from Abbott Elementary. And I'm like, I didn't, really?
Fuck that.
Oh, yeah, he threw a racial slur out and he punched her. And I'm like, I thought I watched it.
Yeah,
and then they tell you 5 other things that you missed, and that's what happened.
Well, not a lot of people did watch it, though, because one, it didn't air on a Sunday.
Down.
Yeah, viewership was down. It's the lowest it's been. It didn't air on a Sunday for the first time. Mm-hmm. And then, I don't know, maybe award shows are just, all of them are declining.
Well, yeah, dude. I mean, as a comic, you watch the monologue, right? And then I think they always put their best foot forward with, like, the big awards. And then, but I don't know. It's also, it made me miss Ricky Gervais. Gerard was funny, so different, like it's the Golden Globes to me feels like it's the only.
By the way,
show.
funny and so different is something your stepmom would say after watching your one-man show when she hated it and didn't think it was funny.
Because most of the material was about her, or what?
They'd be in the lobby with your dad, and they'd go, funny, so different. Like that'd be her searching for something flattering to say about the one-man show that she just hated for 90 minutes.
Oh yeah, my mom actually said that to me the first time I headlined, which was 2 years into stand-up, and a club in Seattle just made the wrong choice. I had maybe 12 minutes of material I'm comfy with. I did an hour. And I'll give myself props for powering through despite all of my friends and family there being like, dude, wrap it up. But I did one joke that my mom, you just reminded me of this afterwards, said an exact sentiment of like, it was, you did it, And the joke was, I'll see if I can paraphrase it. It was something about like, I was raised by a single mom. So I was like, so like I didn't have a lot of like dude, influence on like how, so I was like raised to, and my sister lived with me. So I lived with 2 women. And so I grew up to be sensitive and sweet and kind. So I'd take a guy out to dinner before I let him lick my asshole. And then I pause and that would get a laugh because it's so, hey, who's saying those types of jokes? And then I'd pause and go, nah, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't take him out to dinner. I go, that's expensive. And then that would get a secondary laugh. And my mom after, that was like the opening joke, I think. And my mom after was just like, yeah, you did. It was there was a lot of personal stuff up there. I like that stuff. I like that stuff where you mentioned about growing up with me and your sister. And I was like, did you hear the rest of the jokes? Like I was trying to not talk about it too much, but you just you threw a lot of darts.
I had a single mom too, but I wasn't raised by her. She was just there.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you could call it raised by a single mom. Sure. I had a single mom. So one of the things I noticed through watching some of the clips, some of the highlights on the entertainment shows.
Mr. Gervais, though, I just want to say that. Mr. Ricky. Up top,
yes,
you need
yes.
the whole award show. It's the only one where everyone leans into getting drunk and having it be loose.
Right.
Go all in.
Yes.
He walked up with a beer every time.
Dude, that set the tone. Pacino should be there fucking blackout. Like Johnny Depp should show up on mescaline. Like they should all be going for it.
Agreed. And so one of the things I noticed is, and I don't have any of the categories or names or actors or anything in front of me, Chris, which I think we were talking about.
I think Ben was printing it for you.
All right. Well, Ben should print it and bring it in.
It's running in.
All right. Well, then maybe I'll bump it a segment and I'll bring this up. I'll go completely different direction here and then we'll get back to the award shows because I have some thoughts and some scenarios. I love the band The Pretenders. I've always loved the band The Pretenders. I caught on to them on their first album.
Yeah.
I grew up in L.A. I listened to K-Rock when no one else listened to K-Rock. And, everyone else was listening to REO Speedwagon, and I was listening to Elvis Costello and Joe Jackson, The Pretenders, and Graham Parker, and like these weird, edgy, sort of Euro-y, punky, new wave, they called it. I remember Beth Ringwald, who was the older sister of Molly Ringwald, for my 16th birthday, got me Double Fantasy, I think the John Lennon Yoko thing. And I remember thanking her, but never listening to it. I was listening to the Cars and the Pretenders. And the Pretenders' first album was killer. And it had a song on it that nobody remembers or has heard of, but it got a little radio play. And I started, we'll play it. Start thinking about this song because it's the only song I know of that has a steel drum.
Yeah.
It's a Jamaican.
Love me a good steel drum.
Yeah, there it is.
My buddy hired a steel drum band at my bachelor party. Just to
really?
come for 3 hours in the day while we were all fucked up.
Oh, really?
Oh, my God. It was the greatest shit. I mean, he was playing fucking Billy Ocean. He was taking requests.
It was a steel drum.
It was an old, Tama Bahama white dude that, was also, plugging his website.
But it's first off, shrewd move for the bachelor party because it's the best drinking instrument.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
we were all dancing.
The trombone is after you're drunk. That's that's when you're staggering back to the room. Right. But while you're drinking.
Oh, my God. Nothing's keeping the party moving like a steel drum.
So I thought, goddamn, I love the Pretenders. I love the fact that they wrote a new wave song in 1981 that has a steel drum kind of driving the percussion on it. And then I started thinking about the song and how edgy it was, and like how Chrissie Hynde there's a line in it where she went to a shop and hung out with some dudes, and she goes, I shot my mouth off, and he showed me what that hole was for.
Whoa.
And then I started thinking about, we can listen to a little of it, but then I thought, what inspired this song? And then
you're going to make,
there was a threat from the hall. So here's the story.
Tattoo Boys.
She was invited to a biker gang party and went. Mm-hmm. And
they have a reputation, no? Biker gang parties?
Yeah, and she's a kind of tough chick with a leather jacket.
Well, yeah,
and
she's got scars, lumps, and bumps.
And she doesn't take shit, as you know.
Right.
She's going to say whatever the fuck is on her mind.
She's wearing a leather sleeveless vest.
So she's going all kind of punk rock at the biker party.
And they're telling her to take a chill pill.
In one way or another.
I think they're saying,
force-feeding her it.
We're tired of listening to you. We're going to start fucking you now.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the plot for Cop and a Half?
She says in her book, Reckless, My Life as a Pretender. Now, let me assure you that, technically speaking, however you want to look at it, this was all my doing, and I take full responsibility. You can't fuck around with people, especially people who wear I Heart Rape and On Your Knees badges.
Cool.
Yeah. So
the stop sniveling line
yeah,
apparently came from one of the dudes out in the hallway who was waiting his turn. And he told her to shut up or you're going to make a plastic surgeon real rich.
I mean, this should be like
the threat, the ultimate threat of violence. We're not only going to all rape you, we're going to fucking beat the shit out of you.
How many songs have this aggressive tone that we just don't know about? And can The Voice introduce this as like one of those challenges where they have to write a song about, said topic, but make it catchy? Like, all right, guys, this week we're bringing in, Brian McKnight, fucking, LL Cool J, Dolly Parton, and I don't know, Vanilla Ice. And you're each going to get paired up and write the catchiest bukkake sing along that you can.
We want it snappy.
We want it snappy.
But the whole time, that song's been out for 40 years, and I just thought it was a fun, fast-paced, with a steel drum in it. Like
the steel drum is where they get you. Somebody goes, put in steel drum, and no one's going to pick up on the sniffling, griveling, please don't fuck my mouth attitude.
This horrifying story.
Yeah. Jesus.
All right, I also ran into a guy I hate the most in life. on the road. I don't mind the guy you cut off who goes, fuck you. Like,
Sure.
I don't mind that guy. I don't mind the guy where
That guy had the fuck you locked and loaded, by the way.
Yeah, that's a dude I probably work construction with.
Sure.
And I don't mind the dude where you pull up and he pulls up a second later and takes your parking spot. That's him wanting to be closer to the front door of the Costco. That's all that is. The dude that I marvel at the most is the why dude. Like, I was driving, looking for a parking spot about an hour ago here, and I went out the back street onto the main street, and it's like nobody ever turns onto that street. It's just a main street that goes straight. Everyone just goes straight, and they go to Costco. I mean, they go to the Home Depot or whatever. But there's a weird little side back street that nobody ever turns on because there's no traffic and there's no business and there's no anything. And I looped around and I was starting to pull out onto the main street and I was turning left and I had my blinker on and everything. And I was looking to the left because I was turning left and I started to crouch out, just poke out a little. And a guy needed to turn left in a bizarre act of timing on this little side street that no one ever turns left on. And as he's passing me, there's enough room for him to go around and turn left as I'm inching out, sort of turning to the left, like looking for traffic, and he's coming from the right, and he's going to turn left. He gives me the, what the fuck thing, like, what's happening in my life look, and I'm like, you can't figure this interaction out. Like, I wouldn't even mind if he told me to fuck off, but his thing was like, what are you doing? What is happening here? I don't understand this tableau that you've painted. What is going on? And it's like, I'm turning left out of a street that nobody turns onto except for you, and you timed it in just such a way where you happen to be turning left on a street I'm trying to turn out of, and I'm looking to the left because that's where the traffic's coming, and I saw you. I didn't hit you. You went around me, and right as he gets around me, he dive bombs me. He comes real close to me. It was like a warning shot, and then gives me the right in the eye. Just what the hand off the steering wheel? What the
He's
fuck?
not doing anything.
Like, what is happening?
First of all,
who let you out of the institution and gave you an automobile?
Who let him out? Who let the dogs out?
Who let me out is what he's asking.
I do want to recognize at the beginning of the story, you said you pulled out. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The first time. And also, I think this guy is one of many people that just are dumbfounded by, like, I can't believe that someone else would be on this street. The back street's not even the Backstreet Boys turn on this street, and you're turning on it. These are like you ever walk into a restaurant and let's say there's maybe 40 minutes left before the place closes, and you walk in and you see a server just go like, get the fuck out of here. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Right.
What are you coming in? It's like, dude, you work in a place where people are coming and going. This guy to be that dumbfounded that there's more traffic on that street. Also, again, this is a guy that if he's inching past you to try to flex a little bit of manhood, I mean, the guys that do that don't want to fight because they know they're protected by the car, right?
Right.
I feel like the guy, like if you truly want a road rage moment, you pull over, you get out, because no dude wants to have that interaction go down, because that is really put up or shut up.
That happened to me not that long ago.
Where the guy pulled over.
Yeah, because my wife Jen was driving, and she gets cut off, and then we end up at a red light, and she flashes her light or high beams at the guy because she gets so mad, and I look over, I'm like, what are you doing? No, we don't need to do this.
Women do that, I think, and guys scream, right? Women do the light flash, and then we go, hey,
exactly. So she
fuck.
flashes the lights, like, I'm like, what is this gonna do? Of course, he gets out of the car and starts walking towards us. Now I'm thinking, all right, now I'm gonna have to fight this guy.
Yeah, you have to.
You
have to defend her honor and your your man.
Yeah, and my Prius.
And defend the Prius.
All right, so the thing I was talking, there's a mildly, marginally, or maybe not so marginal or mild thing going on at these award shows that is racist. And what it is I was watching Angela Bassett win Best Supporting Actress.
That's right.
And she won it, and I think it was Jennifer Hudson that awarded. She's the one on stage opening the envelope. Now, everyone else, and I don't know who all was in that category. Well, I'll just show it to you, but I got to find out everyone else who was in that category. Oh, Carrie
Condon, Jamie Lee Curtis, Dolly DeLeon, and Carrie Mulligan.
I guess all whitey.
Yeah.
Right? And then Angela Bassett.
By the way, real quick, who's the more famous Angela? Bassett, Lansbury, or Merkel? And maybe Mary Fuck Kill in addition to that question.
Yeah.
But let me just go famous Bassets.
Yeah, I think the Merkels they
Famous
go
Angelas? Yeah, sorry,
they go
the tequila's kicking
they
in.
go Angela.
Angela. Oh, okay.
So I don't know if that we can pull her name out of the famous.
Is there a third Angela you can
Angela.
throw in there with Lansbury and Bassett? By the way, Lansbury and Bassett I would hire to defend me in any court.
you know the third most famous Angela. Tony Danza knows.
Oh my God! I can't believe I walked right into this shit. You know what? And every time I think, look, Mary
Who's
Fuck
the
Kill.
boss?
Mary Fuck Kill is probably my favorite game. You know, it's like whenever I get hired for, karaoke. When I used to do singing telegrams, I would open with, I don't know the fucking words, but I'd sing some fucking bullshit Christmas tune, and then we'd come in for hot cocoa, and we'd do like 19 rounds of Mary Fuck Kill. Angela's always the best.
Yeah, because
By the way, I'd fuck her and kill her. That's how much I love her.
yeah, I mean, you must have yelled out Angela 15 times a day in the 80s, right?
Oh my God! At least every time I said going into each season I go, you need at least 10 Angela screams per episode, and I need at least 15 Snapples in my green room, and I need somebody to compliment me at least 18 times a day.
Yeah.
And boy, I can't. But by the way, I am a shitty party guest. Anytime I put my drink down anywhere, it's got no coaster.
I just threw him a coaster because this table scars like a white boxer.
Boy, you used to be able to say stuff like that.
I
Instead of
know.
who's the boss? You know.
Well, speaking of
Well, the
race,
Golden
all right,
Globes.
we'll have Jennifer Hudson deliver the win, and again, it's an all white category
Sure.
except for one black person.
Yeah.
And the Golden Globe goes to Angela Bassett, baby. Come on!
You see her face. It's like, oh my God, there's one black person and she won it, and this
Yeah.
is great because we're on the same team. And I was so.
I've
there's
gotten
a lot
more
of that.
examples
There's a few of
You
those.
want to see them?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're good.
Angela Bassett's a gangster, huh? Just
What
she's been. I mean, what a career. I mean, and that name too. That's a Hollywood name where you're like, fuck, you put that attached to anything.
Yeah.
Yes.
How would you do if it was Angela Lansbury? I mean,
Lansbury doesn't carry as much weight.
No, she'd be like, and the winner is
She's still
Angela
alive.
Lansbury.
Yeah, Lansbury. Yeah.
rest in peace. But yeah. Oh, here's another one. These are just from various awards.
And the Golden Globe goes to. Well, we're just gonna keep the black girl magic going. Quinta, get up here, girl.
Awesome.
So that was this is the same Golden Globes. That was a Quinta
Right.
one. But then we have other ones from the past too.
I'm saying it's more than a trend. Is what I'm saying. Now.
Right.
And all I'm saying is if you want to figure out how stuff works, you just flip the script.
Yeah.
Just reverse it. Like, let's just say John Voight is presenting.
Right.
And he's like, Emmy for Best Supporting Actor. Let's see. Kevin Hart, Idris Elba, Samuel L. Jackson, Denzel Washington. And the winner is Jim Gaffigan!
Right.
Jim Gaffigan!
Wow,
This is
wow.
awesome! Woo!
Right, can't do
Jim
that.
Gaffigan! Yes! Come on up here, Whitey! Get up here, Jimmy! Come on, man!
It's
Hug
a
it
hot
out!
pocket tonight,
Hug
yeah.
it out!
Somebody slap that guy.
How fast would he have to? Fucking, what would Twitter do to
Blow up.
any
Can't
white
do that.
guy
Destroy
picked
him.
one white dude out of the category and then went nuts
Doesn't work
on
that
him.
way. Well, because historically, right. I mean, there's just been way more white people that have won so many awards, right, in the show. That's
Yeah.
I'd say statistically
Yeah.
that's a
So
sound
their
principle.
celebration feels appropriate, but I do hear you. It's like they, I mean, and this is what Gerard kind of was. A lot of his monologue was hinting at.
Right, but I'm saying the problem overall with we need an equal playing field and everyone needs a seat at the table and blah 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 is when you're breaking everyone off into groups and sections and gays and lesbians and blacks and Hispanics and stuff. It starts off with everyone needs to be treated the same.
Right.
But it quickly merges into, I'm rooting for my team.
Yeah.
And that's not a country you want to live in.
Yeah.
But also in
We see somebody just read a transcript of it, just neutral, the entire show, and then that's how we'll watch it now. No emotion.
Well, you know
anymore.
what's almost more disheartening to me are the comedy bits in between these shows that aren't. It's like there's no prep. I know they write and stuff, but it's I watched Nicole Byer and Anna Gasteyer, who are both hilarious, and I was like, oh, I don't think they've ever met before, and they were paired up, and it was just like they had to find. Also, there's been so many great, like a Kristen Wiig and a Steve Carell or Will Ferrell and Jack Black. There's been like heavy hitter duos that have crushed their in between presenting bit. So now there's like this, and again, it's like lean into getting a little fucked up. If you are meeting someone for the first time and you have to roll the dice on your, sensibilities lining up with the timing, like it just felt a little off. And I was like, oh, you're both so funny, but this is not happening.
The other, if you flip the script, racist take, because that's what I do. I just sit at home at night, I drink scotch with my musket rifle next to me, and I just
Sudoku
go,
that's half finished.
what if that was a white guy instead of a black girl? What if the whole, what was it, Regina Hall? Kevin Costner.
Oh yeah, because Kevin Costner won.
I just watched that actually today, and I'm so glad you're bringing this up. I looked to my wife and I go, funny wise, I love what she did because you fucking don't show up and you won. I don't know, but also Costner is so. Fuck, man, like don't you get to a certain stage where you go, I don't gotta go to all this shit anymore. Like I've done enough, but he probably knew he won, right? Like they have to have known. No,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Like the producers knew Clay Aiken was going to beat Ruben Studdard, and I feel like swap that. I think Studdard won, didn't he? Dawson, I feel like you know the stats on this.
I don't.
Yeah.
Stuttered won.
Studdard won. Of course, I
got
fucking
you.
knew. And so I feel like they knew. So I feel like Costner knew, and they gave him the heads up. And he's like, "I'm not taking a copter from Santa Barbara. The floods are out of control," is what she goes on to say. But she cracks on him, and I'm all here for it because it's like, again, when there's such little comedy in these things, any opportunity to do it. But then I'm also like, Costner, how dare you make fun of fucking the guy from Tin Cup?
Well, Costner was, I recognize where he delivered something later, but I've been to his house and hung out with him in Santa Barbara area. It's not even...
It's tough to get to, huh?
Well, it got hit. Up north got hit really hard, and Oprah and Ellen were out there tweeting. I like when they do this. They go, Ellen's out there, and she's like, there's a creek that runs behind my house. It's almost never full, and now it's full. And it's like, yeah, let me explain how rain... Let me explain how rain and gravity works, bitch. It's like, you live in this area that's a drought zone 9 years out of the decade, and then once a decade something blows in and it rains for 6 days straight, and then that thing called a creek that holds water, like, forget about this, Ellen. Let's just say it's your sink. Let's just say you never turned on your sink, and then one day you turned it on full and you clogged up the drain. Do not be surprised if you returned home and there'd be water in your sink. Yeah. She's like, no.
I watch that TikTok.
Now there's water. You're right, because you see those things that fall from the sky, those droplets, they convene in the gully and in the creek, and they all get together and they form water. Yeah. And then the water moves places, and that's what's called a creek. And that's full, Ellen. And I know this is very upsetting to you, but this thing, it's like saying, I drive a car and it's almost never wet.
Yeah.
But then I went out this morning and now it's all wet.
What the hell?
What's going on? It's called rain. It happens. It's historically, it's happened worldwide.
Well,
nationally as well.
The exact same thing happened like 5 years ago. The exact same.
And she
thing
did a little
happened
video.
Like 5 years
I have
ago.
a problem with people with that amount of.
It happens like every 5 to 10 years.
You can't act
in
like
Santa
you
Barbara
don't know what weather is. You also can't. It's like if Bezos was like did a little thing. He was like, I can't. Like if he's in the middle of a place, let's say in Montana, and there's a snow blizzard, and he's like, holy shit, fucking Dairy Queen wouldn't even sell this blizzard. Shit's out of control. Snowmen are coming to life to beat your kids and fuck your wife. We don't know what's going on, but I had to take a toboggan to my other house. and it took fucking 6 minutes, but thank God, my snow dogs, they're white, and he makes a whole deal out of it, and you're like, oh, this guy really gets us. It's like, dude, you're too off the grid. You're too, like, Ellen, we don't want to, unless you are living like the rest of us, it's tough for me to feel bad for you with your creek being flooded.
And by the way, the creek is doing its fucking job wonderfully.
Yeah.
That's what the creek is there for. Somebody said
Stop
we
creek
should
hate.
put a creek, not through your living room, but we'll put a creek outside so
Where
when
it's
it does
supposed to be.
rain, then the water will be contained in the creek and then it will run down toward the ocean and you will not flood, which the creek was doing a marvelous job of doing.
The last time this happened, the creek did not do its job. It wasn't contained and destroyed a whole bunch of houses and killed some people. This year,
Right.
Was she
it
videoing
didn't,
that?
because they cleaned it.
Well, now we got to
and
find
they
the vid.
took care
Now we
of
got to
it.
find the vid.
Yeah.
Ultimately,
Because that's the video I'd see. Her in front of a house being like, look right behind me. This tree just gouged this kid while he was sleeping in the face. I think they're pulling him out, right? Like, show me some live
Bodies?
Yeah,
Like dead bodies?
I don't know about that, but yeah, for sure. Like, give me a more. There was nothing to look at.
Yeah.
what they want to do is ultimately they want to blame global warming. So that's kind of the message for
Gotcha.
getting out there. So when it rains hard, they think it's global warming. When
Right.
it's been dry and arid for 6 months, they blame global warming. So they just want to go out and blame global. Anyway, Costner's north, and the rained like crazy, and
The
then
heaviest rain we've had in a long
it
time.
stopped the day of the Golden Globes, but he probably got the message earlier, like, hey, the roads are flooded and the creek. Ellen's crying about the creek. Ellen, your tears are adding to the problem.
Ah.
This is her.
Oh, she was
So, Montecito is under complete evacuation. The entire town.
Also,
This is
report
Foster
from
experts.
in the water.
Yeah, get in the water.
Get in the
Fire
water.
and mudslides that killed so many people and people lost their homes, their lives. This is crazy.
If she started dancing at the end of this, how funny would that be?
This is great. She's like, all right, I got to go yell at an employee.
Never flows, ever. Probably about 9 feet up, and it's going to go and never.
There are weathermen in Reno, Nevada that will fucking go the balls deep into
Right.
a tornado.
Mother Nature. Because Mother Nature is not happy with us.
Mother Nature's angry. Hold on. All right, listen.
I haven't
All
heard
we
anyone
talk about
refer-
is living in a drought zone, conserve water, and now Mother Nature gives us water, and now Mother Nature's angry at us.
Yeah.
All
By the
right.
way, I don't know if this is the fat kid in me, but I immediately see a dark flowing river, and I go, "That's where Augustus Gloop died."
That's right.
That's the fat. That's the penis and tit kid in me being like, "Dude, that is a chocolate river, and no one's taking advantage of it."
All right, so we need to play Regina Hall, and again, let's just pretend Costner is accepting on behalf of Regina Hall.
Okay.
How fast would the racism cries come out?
Kevin Costner, he's so much wanted to be. I always like how they write this. It's like, he's so much wanted to be. No, I'm sure he did. He's so much.
Something
If
happened.
he won, I know he would have really won.
She's-
But
yeah.
she won. So he's so much wanted to be here, but because of it's been raining, the unprecedented weather and flooding, he has to shelter in place in Santa Barbara. Jesus. No, this
Is she reading for this is the first time?
Yeah, this is a cold
horrible.
read.
He's stuck in Santa Barbara. Let's pray, everyone. Let's
pray. Oof.
let's just.
Something happened.
She's,
All right,
She's
the
had
point-
some,
No, that's all.
some pops.
What if Costner was doing that about Regina Hall? He would have to issue
You think?
an apology.
I
He'd
think
be
so.
called racist.
Really?
Oh,
I think
Wow,
sexist.
yeah.
poor.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
No, a black woman. Listen, I'll give you proof. You want proof?
Please.
10 minutes ago in the last award show,
Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel did that bit where he was too drunk and he got dragged up on stage and Abbott Elementary, Brunson won, and he laid there passed out while she gave her acceptance speech, and people called that racist.
Oh, that's right.
So if you can call that racist,
Whoa.
then you would definitely
Wait,
call...
that happened?
Yeah, he played the
Come
bit.
on.
Yeah, so
You
he
can fucking sit poolside, listen to a steel drum, and drinking all day. You're out of the fucking loop. Marriage is the worst thing that ever happened to you. You no longer, because the old Adam would sharp finger on the pulse, breaking
man. You're
news. Not new married, soft Adam.
Sorry, I just saw Muppets from Space last night. I'm way behind on the times.
It was a big deal that it was racist for Jimmy to be laying there while a black woman gave her acceptance speech. And I'm telling you, if Costner
you're right.
did that about her,
message received.
It would be super racist. They would call it racist. So
also now, how much does it affect? How much rests on the person coming off? Like Costner does have a cool, like stoic, like seems like the guy that might slip in a racist joke at a party. And it's almost like a throwaway to where people can't even tell if he's being racist or not. So he's got that cool kind of, like squinty-eyed, like I almost feel like he could pass it off to where people, wouldn't jump on him because it's Costner, he's just making a goof. But like
Costner grew up in South Central.
Well, there we go.
But back before it was South Central.
Gotcha.
Is Brad Meltzer waiting? Is he on or is he not? Oh, he's not popped on yet. All right. So Dawson has.
Oh God.
Oh, you want to watch Kimmel? Are we going to watch
People are calling.
I mean,
I'm not going to watch
I
it, but there's a
white
headline.
male privilege.
So Jamie was hammered. And
Racist
he's
and sexist.
He's passed out.
Yeah,
He
so
did
he did a bit where he was presenting and he pretended he was passed out, but then he committed so hard that when the person won and was giving her speech, he was still lying down.
Wait a second. Okay, I'm sorry. This wasn't at this one. This was at an old award show.
No, I said before, just a few minutes, at another award show.
Gotcha. All right. Yes, I do remember that. Yeah, that was. Yeah, and then the whole uproar was like that he was taking away from her moment because he stayed on the stage.
Yes,
and maybe overstayed the welcome.
My message is this:
that's not racist. That's just overcommitment and not reading the room.
I know, but people called it racist. The whole point is people do shit all the time, and if there's two people involved and the two people are white or the two people are black or Hispanic, if everyone's the same race, then there's no racism call. But if someone is a different race, then racism gets infused. But that's not what 90% of interactions are. They're just, the guy who did hey, what the hell? I'm trying to turn left here. What's going on in my life? Then if I were black, I could assume, that was a racist move, except where I know we have way more assholes than racists. That's what I'm trying to explain. That's what I tell my kids.
It's a great premise.
All right. So
do you guys ever get
road
rage, or was that ever a thing with?
Oh yeah, I still get it. But I always try to kill it with kindness to diffuse my furiousness.
Yeah.
And to I knew there was a word in there somewhere. And to
it's fast and furious.
And to also piss them off. Because if someone something happens and they look at you and flick you off and you just smile and wave,
that's the best.
It drives them crazy. Drives them crazy.
Good move.
But see, my thing with people cutting me off or whatever those road ragey situations are. So I'm a 100% context person. The person that's running late, hauling ass, and probably texting someone that he's running late who flies past me and cuts me off on the freeway, I have no ill will toward that person because that person doesn't know me, doesn't know what's going on. I don't personalize any of it, right? So I don't honk at that person or do anything at that person. The person I do honk at is the person who won't turn right on a red when there's no traffic coming. Oh, yeah. I'm like, you go. I use my horn to move you along, and I will give that person hey, what the fuck? Wake up. You're holding up people. There's a stack of cars. We're all piling up behind you. That person gets the horn. But the other stuff,
you're helping society.
It's like if you were walking by a lake and you were attacked by a goose and you're like, fuck that goose. Fuck it. God damn it.
By the way, you're taking that story to the grave, by the way. Nobody hears about this.
That fucking goose, motherfucking goose attacked my knee.
Tell no one.
I'm like, that's just fucking a goose doing what it does.
Yeah.
It doesn't know you.
You gave it a bad look.
You could have Hitler walking by the lake, or you could have Mother Teresa walking by the lake, and the goose would attack them both equally. It has nothing to do with them. It's what geese do.
Yes.
Do not go through life where you're constantly going, why is this happening to me? Like, what are you doing to me? We're not doing anything to you.
Yeah.
You are either a guy walking by a lake and the
You're in
world
the way
is
or
a
you're not.
goose,
Yeah.
or you're someone on the freeway and someone's trying to make time.
Yeah.
That's all it is. No reason to internalize. They didn't cut you off. They cut a car off that was in front of them that you were in.
They know nothing about you.
They know nothing.
They don't
There's you don't need to settle the goose's hash, and you don't need, although I would eat goose hash.
That sounds delicious.
If I went to a
It's a great
fucking
Thanksgiving.
restaurant,
Yeah.
they had goose hash
my
or
God.
buffalo burger, I'd get the goose hash.
That definitely
Goose
does.
is fucking be delectable hash.
It feels like somebody at Chili's is like, we got to up the menu.
Yeah.
we
We're
got to
going
compete
goose
with
hash.
Mastros, and they're like, no, you
Yeah.
don't. Yes, we do. This is the problem, Brian.
Yes.
Now, I do want to ask the horn real quick. Was it put in place to like save lives and give like warnings, or was it all put in place for road rage? The guy who invented the horn, was he like, dude, people aren't fucking turning right on red. They're fucking blah blah blah. They're being pieces of shit. Their music's too loud. They're too Jewish. Whatever it is, they're like, I gotta. Oh, we need something to let them know that they're fucking up. Or is it to, like when someone's walking in front of your car and you honk and you're like, oh, you didn't see that it was flashing red hand, not the white stick guy. Like, hey, I'm saving your life by letting you know I'm coming.
Yeah.
I can't get inside of the head of James Hornman.
I thought you were going to say Horner, the composer. Wouldn't it be great if they were linked?
But I will tell you that there was a car commercial from the 50s, and that car had a city horn and a country horn.
Can we please find this?
You can find it. It was chronicled in the movie Diner for some reason, as I recall, which is Barry Levinson, great movie. It slid under a lot of people's radar. Solid comedy, really solid comedy, the movie Diner.
Country horn, city horn.
I swear to God, it was like a 1954 Hudson or something. It wasn't a Ford or a Chevy, I don't think.
Now, is this when the horn was first introduced was it also the commercial for like when they first got heated seats? Was this like, and now there's a way to let assholes know that they need to fucking turn their shit around?
I don't think they used that exact language because it was a different time in the 50s. People a little more religious.
Agree to disagree.
Look, horns started outside the car with the squeeze ball one.
Oh, yeah, on the bike.
Right?
Yeah.
Like a bike horn,
Yeah.
right? Which must have, what that prevented? That prevented the move
Guys from getting laid?
that people hate. If I drive with somebody and I'm riding shotgun and we get to the red light and the person in front of us is not turning right, I reach over and honk for them.
You have to.
It's essentially,
I've seen this.
yeah. It's essentially like killing someone and then wiping the gun down and putting it in their hand so it looks like suicide
exactly
because the
what that
person
is.
always looks back and goes, hey, fuck you,
hell?
man. And then the person who's driving goes, what the fuck did you do that
Oh,
for?
yeah.
But it would prevent my lean over honk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if it's just mounted outside the window on the left side, like a Model T, we have the commercial.
It is weird when you do that with Ubers.
Have I ever done that with an Uber? Oh, if I was in the front seat, I would. Or I'd go from the back seat. I go full Trump. I just lean forward and try to grab the wheel.
God, we're going back.
All right, we'll play it.
But then there's another handy way to get around and have fun doing it. Oh my God. The Renault Dauphine, the car made in France to make driving fun again. Balloons, please.
This guy did the VO for every commercial at this time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Introducing balloons.
With the balloons. First, see the Dauphine's maneuverability in traffic. Look how it gets around.
Wow.
And how it corners.
This is the
Speed
50s.
axle design does that. And see how it accelerates and climbs. Driving economy gets up to 40 miles a gallon.
Whoa.
I mean, does this guy voice commercials for like butt plugs? Because he can sell anything.
Yeah.
But watch this. With the Renault Dauphine, everybody's an expert.
I'm putting balloons on my car.
Lots of room for you to park inside.
Pretty good.
Handy as roller skates and twice the fun.
Well, roller skates
Even
are not
has a
that handy,
city
by the way.
horn And the country horn. That's
I would
Just
put
a little octave
a
variation.
bike based solely on the city and the country horn. Although there's a lot of pressure because if you're in the country and you honk at someone and you use the city horn,
God.
that's an issue now.
Yeah, we'll be running through with pitchforks.
And the guy in front of you'd be confused, like, you're using your city horn and we're on a deserted road.
I'd be so embarrassed if you leaned over and hit my city horn.
All right, Brad Meltzer's now in the waiting room. First, let me tell you about Stamps.com. January means dealing with customer emails, returns, gift cards, purchases, and the inevitable increase in postage costs. Stamps.com. You can print postage right from your home or office within minutes of signing up. Automatically tells you the cheapest and fastest shipping options. No guessing, no overpaying. Plus, huge discounts. Up to 86% off. I've used Stamps.com for 12 years. We've used it here at the shop. We send out merch and books, paperwork, everything. Comes with a scale, a digital scale. I think it goes to 80 pounds, but... You start the new year off by saving some serious money. Sign up with the promo code ADAM for a special offer, including a 4-week trial, free postage, and free digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone, top of the homepage, and enter the code ADAM and get your shipping done fast and inexpensively at Stamps.com. Super author Brad Meltzer's got a book about a Nazi conspiracy, and we'll talk to him right after this.
In celebration of Jim Carolla's upcoming 92nd birthday, here's a list of 92 things Jim Carolla has never done. Number 3, taking a tequila shot. Just one of 92 things Jim Carolla has never done. Let's get back to the Adam Carolla Show.
Adam Ray is with us. Young Rock is his show. New episodes Fridays on NBC. Brad Meltzer's got another book out. Man, this guy just cranks it out. It's called The Nazi Conspiracy, The Secret Plot to Kill Roosevelt, Stalin, and Churchill. Good to see you again, Brad.
Hey, brother. Good to be back.
So how much of this is based on historical events?
Oh, it's a nonfiction book. The
100%.
Entire thing. There's 30 pages of footnotes in this one. I didn't make anything up in it.
So tell us the story in a nutshell.
Yeah, so this is a story, as you said, about the plot to kill Churchill, Stalin, and FDR at the height of World War II. It's 1943, and it's the first meeting where the big three are getting together. Obviously, the Nazis have invaded in 1943. They've invaded the Soviet Union. They're decimating Stalin. He's like, we got to get on the same page. We've got to get all of us together. He wants us to invade, of course, which will be the Battle of Normandy. And FDR is like, millions of lives are at stake. We have to have this meeting. And it's in Tehran, Iran, of all places.
Wow.
So Roosevelt gets to Tehran. He's got his motorcade going down the center of the city. Everyone's, of course, craning their neck. They want to see the president of the United States. It's World War II. And what none of them know is the guy waving from inside the motorcade is not FDR at all. It's actually a Secret Service decoy. The real FDR, and this is all true, the real FDR is across town in the back of a beat-up sedan, ducked down and hiding because they're worried he's going to be killed by a Nazi assassin. And I just ruined chapter 1 of the Nazi conspiracy. But
no, it's like that Kevin Kline movie where the president got sick and a guy looked just like the president who was played by, Dave. It's like that movie, Dave. Secretly,
it's like Dave, but with more Nazis. That's basically what it is.
That was actually the pitch for Dave.
Yeah. That was the pitch for Dave. I think that's why Frank Langella got cast, because he could play a Nazi and the presidential guy.
I got a hot take. I think Kevin Kline played both parts in that movie.
You may be right.
Action.
Yeah. So they must do this all the time. The sort of put the guy in the beat up truck and put him in the back, and there's no target on him. So that's Roosevelt, right?
Yeah, that's Roosevelt. And the thing is you got the Nazi stories in this book are bananas. I couldn't even make them up. There's a guy in the book named Otto Skorzeny. And Otto Skorzeny is a Nazi who gets a call one day to come down to Hitler's Wolf Slayer, which is Adolf Hitler's private headquarters. That's literally the name of it, the Wolf Slayer.
That's not Hitler's Xbox screen name?
That's Wolf Slayer 69. That's
Dude, Meltzer coming in hot with some jokes.
I mean, come on. What do you expect me to do, man? I'm coming on one of the shows I love.
You're killing it.
So anyway, he goes in, Otto Skorzeny goes to the Wolf Slayer. He gets paged with like all these other secret special operations guys, and Hitler gives him a test. And he literally lines them up shoulder to shoulder, and he says, listen, what do you think of Italy? And they're all kissing his rear end. They're like, oh, boss, we love Italy. We're going to fight with them. They're on our side. And Otto Skorzeny, this Nazi, over everyone else, shouts out and says, I am from Austria, my Führer. And he knows, of course, that Adolf Hitler's from Austria, and a true Austrian resents Italy forever because in World War I, Italy took a piece of Austria and never gave it back. And Adolf Hitler, in this moment, looks over at Otto Skorzeny, and he's like, you're my guy. And he sends Otto Skorzeny on this secret mission. And I'm telling you, it's so crazy, the mission. I don't want to ruin the end of the part of the book, but it's so crazy the mission he sends him on that we actually, Josh mentioned, I, my co-writer, we asked the editor, we're like, we need to put a photograph in the actual page of this book because no one will believe this happened if we don't show them photo proof. And it's the wildest Nazi story you've never heard in your life.
Obviously unsuccessful, but were they, famously, they tried to kill Hitler by putting the bomb under the big oak table. I think that was a Tom Cruise movie. There's a lot of ways you can kill somebody. Was he sniper rifle, briefcase bomb?
Yeah, so we were using everything back then. There's one guy, one of Adolf Hitler's guys, one of his top guys was in a convertible, and these guys threw a bomb in the convertible, which is, Hitler's like, why are you driving in a convertible in World War I? You're one of my top guys. Yeah. He was, of course, talking to a dead person at that point, so it didn't matter. But, and then Admiral Yamamoto was the guy who was the mastermind, the Japanese mastermind behind Pearl Harbor. When FDR heard that he was, they had his whereabouts, they said, you want to kill him? And we can shoot him down. They figured out what plane he was in. And FDR famously said, get Yamamoto. And we shot him out of the sky. And so the plan was they thought, and again, of course it didn't happen, was to come through these water tunnels. And they were going to come on on Winston Churchill's birthday. They knew that Winston Churchill's birthday, they didn't know what day they would all be together. But they thought for sure on Winston Churchill's birthday, there would be a party and a surprise to celebrate. So it never passes. But the way we find out about it is bananas, because what we have is you have this young Nazi guy who's like in his 20s, is in Iran. He's kind of like sneaking around Iran. And he's sleeping with this woman from a wealthy family who's from a local wealthy family. What he doesn't know is that this woman is sleeping with an American GI who's undercover. So he's whispering secrets in bed to her. She's telling them to us. Again, the story is just amazing because it's all real. That's the thing about the Nazi conspiracy. It's like everything in it, when you're reading it, you're like, this just seems like it's something that you'd make up, but it's a lost moment in history and you don't know about it because when it happened, FDR comes back from the meeting. He's like, yeah, the meeting went well. And the Nazis tried to kill me. It makes every front page paper of the news at the time. It's the biggest story in the country. But then guess what happens soon after is Normandy. Mm-hmm. And when Normandy happens, 150,000 men storm the beaches, 1 million more standing by. This story becomes a footnote to history. And it gets lost until, of course, nerds like me figure it out and find it out and pull it out.
Brad, 2 questions. I want to, first of all, just recognize and appreciate your usage of the word bananas twice so far. You did say up top, most Hitler stories are bananas. I would venture to assume all Hitler stories are bananas. I don't think there's any story of it being like, hey, Hitler came to my kid's birthday party, brought a gift, But you did say at one point that when Hitler said, like, what do you think of Italy? I assumed, I didn't know, you were speaking in war terms, that I thought he was making small talk, like, is Rome the best place for pasta?
Yeah, he was looking for the best gelato.
Right, but now this is my question, is, in your just research and knowledge of the man, like, is there any... I don't feel like I've seen or heard it, I guess, in some, films and books, but like the human side of him to actually, how much of that in your just knowing of the guy is there to him? Or was it all business all the time? I guess that's my question.
You should have seen him up at the Wolf's Lair. I mean, no, seriously, there's plenty of footage of him like hanging around with Ava Braun. He's got his little dog. He's got his German Shepherd with him.
Yeah, listen, he's a man in love. He falls in love. I mean, I went to this place, the Army took me to this Army museum that they have in Virginia. And there's all these paintings there. And one of the things they have there is they have Hitler's paintings. When they raided, in the end, when they finally raided and he killed himself, they took all his paintings. You could see he has... And first of all, he's a painter himself, but he also had paintings done of him. And one of them is like him on a horse in like armor, like he's like King Arthur. It's a terrible, awful painting, but you can see that there's a giant hole through where his head is because all the American GIs were putting their fists and their feet through it.
Right.
But Hitler was, they really wrecked it. They wrecked them all. It's pretty amazing.
Man.
But he was a painter. The guy loved his art. I mean, he hated us Jews, but he loved art.
But I'm so disappointed because when you said there was a hole in the painting where his head was, I thought you were going to say all the GIs popped their head through it.
Yeah,
like when you go down to Coney Island and have that plywood with
it's like the end of Greece when they have the little dog.
It's got the muscle man. Look, Mom, it's me. It's Hitler. It's
what
my
if that
turn.
was the type of art that Hitler
My
was
turn.
obsessed with?
No, you get out of here, Mickey. It's my turn to be Hitler.
That would be the great if my Uncle Ralph, who my dad's brother, who fought in World War II, if I have his Purple Heart. I have the folded up triangle flag, same shape they fold paper in when you're doing that football game in junior high, where you flick it.
Still holds up.
If I would trade it all in, I have a Japanese sword, of a sword that he, commandeered while he was island hopping. I would trade it all for one picture of his head, of Uncle Ralph's head, through Hitler's painting. Yeah. Through Hitler's
The thing that you've done, though, is you've made Wolf's Lair the new Disneyland, right? Like, that's the German Disney. That's what you've done.
I don't know if I want to go there.
First off,
you don't want to go there.
I have no idea. Do they have tours of Wolf's Lair?
That's a good question. I don't know what that's a good question. I don't know what they've done with it. I mean, the thing though that we do need to talk about, though, is what's crazy. And just to stay on this the Hitler Nazi theme for a moment, is we tell these stories like we're laughing and making jokes as if like, okay, this is so long in the past. But World War II is not that long ago. Yeah. Anne Frank and Barbara Walters are born in the same year.
Wow.
We see one of them in black and white. Your Uncle Ralph is like some, old, but one of them, just recently passed away. And one of the things, when everything happened at Charlottesville, and you see all these Nazis, and you're like, we wring our hands and we're like, I can't believe there's Nazis in America. That shouldn't happen here. That's something from Europe and long ago. When we were researching the book, we found this Nazi rally in Madison Square Garden, of all places. And it's in the heart of New York City. 20,000 Nazis show up in World War II to cheer on. They have these giant banners of George Washington with swastikas around them. And the first speaker of the day says, if George Washington were alive today, he'd be friends with Adolf Hitler. And again, we wrote the book because it's great. It reads like action. It reads like a thriller, and you get to learn stuff. And I want to, we want to entertain you, but man, we also want to warn you that these stories are not that long ago. Not to bring the party down, but like,
no, for sure,
man, right now we're just in that period of time where you're like, I can't believe we're in 2023 and we're still fighting Nazis.
They do tours of Wolf's Lair. I don't know if you recently married. Have you honeymooned yet, Adam?
You know what? Wolf's Lair, I'll be honest, was on the short list.
We should crowdfund this thing.
I'm down to get that going. I don't think she'd be that down for.
Bring the steel drums.
Tell her what it is.
I don't know. What you can literally go to the place where like Eva Braun took the cyanide pill and Adolf Hitler took his pistol in his hand and pointed it to his temple. That's really the hottest place I think to take.
They let you pop by that and take a peek.
Well, that's in Germany.
I mean, get the fast pass, yeah.
Wolf's Lair, sorry, but I love architecture. Wolf's Lair must have been, was it built pre-Hitler, and did he occupy it, or was it a custom ground up build for the H-Man?
Yeah, I don't know what, the thing is, it has such a good name. If he just named it some German name that we didn't care about, we'd never care. But the fact he names it Wolf's Lair is it's so super villainy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It has the word layer in it.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. We should figure that one out.
A young guy hey man, come over to my place. We'll talk about you joining my team. Just come over to my Wolf's Lair.
Come over to the lair. Yeah.
Right. I mean, what woman is falling for that? It's clearly working for him. He finds someone, but that's just, that is not the way.
Well, Eva Braun, I don't know when they get together, her and Hitler.
I don't know much about. I actually don't know much about her.
What's his opening line?
I don't know. I think Adolf Hitler, man.
What's his
again, we see it all
I
the
know
time.
what he says. He goes, "Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?"
God, yeah.
That's terrible.
What's your thoughts on Jews and Italy?
No, but
it's just the Jews one.
Yeah, those are deal breakers.
If I was Eva Braun, I would definitely want to know, if I was hooking up with Hitler, how the war is going. I know a lot of chicks.
But the thing is, it's early in the war. That's a thing. But he's crushing it in the beginning of the war. Right. So I think his opening line is pretty easy. He's winning.
Did you see what happened on Saturday? Yeah.
Right. The thing that he's living large. Like when Pearl Harbor happens, Adolf Hitler, they say to they're like, listen, America doesn't want to be fighting with the Germans. We don't want to be fighting Nazis. We tell the story now that we punched Nazis in the jaw. We saved the day for democracy. We don't want to be in World War II. World War I happened. We lost so many young men. The stock market crashes. It's a disaster. FDR is elected to save the country from ruin. And Adolf Hitler, when Japan attacks in Pearl Harbor, we, of course, declare war on them. But they say to Hitler, they're like, listen, leave America alone. You don't want to be fighting with the United States. And Adolf Hitler, this is in the book. You can see it. He truly slaps his knee from someone who was there, slaps his leg and laughs. And he's like, this is the greatest thing that happened. We're going to fight with the United States now. He thinks that strong people attack. They don't wait to be attacked. He makes two huge miscalculations among many. One is he thinks the Russians are going to stop fighting and they're going to give up, which of course they won't. They'll fight to the death. But two is he picks a fight with America thinking that we're never going to fight back. And Winston Churchill is thrilled because he remembers this quote. He says that the United States is like a giant boiler. And once you put a fire under it and once you light it, it will never stop burning. It will give off unlimited energy. Wow. And Winston Churchill's right about that, man. And Hitler is no longer living large once, obviously, that turns.
Wolf's Lair was built for Hitler. It was, where? Was it in
By the way,
it
has to be built for Hitler. It's outside Berlin. It has to be built for him just to have the name Wolf's Lair. You got to figure that.
Yeah. Hitler met Eva Braun in 1929. So,
that's early.
A decade before the war started. She was 17 back when that made her spinstress, like an old maid back. Like in 1929, if you're 17 and you weren't with the Fuhrer, there's going to be an issue because people want grandkids. All right. So are you contacted by, I think we've talked about this before. Do government people talk to you about possibilities?
So I got a call a number of years ago from the Department of Homeland Security asking me to come in and brainstorm different ways that terrorists could attack the United States. This was after 9/11. And they would pair me with, they would bring in what they were calling out-of-the-box thinkers. And they would pair me with a Secret Service agent and with a chemist. They would give us a target and they would tell us, you got to destroy it. And I would come up with my crazy way in. And then the Secret Service guy would say, no, here's the better way through security. The chemist would say, let's use this chemical. It'll dissipate less quickly in the air. And we would destroy a major city like Los Angeles in an hour. And you don't go home feeling good. You go home terrified because you're like, it's not a fun day. But the craziest call I ever got is I got a call. I wasn't allowed to tell this story, but I can tell it now. When George H.W. Bush, when President Bush was sick and he was dying, what no one knew is they were asking his favorite authors to come and read to him on his deathbed. Whoa! And I got the call, and I get the call, and I'm in Kennebunkport, and the Secret Service say to me, they're like, "Listen, man, he's really sick. He's going to fall asleep in like 5 minutes. He's sleeping most of the day, so read for 5 minutes, and then you'll leave." And I'm like, "You got it. Honored to be here." Secret Service leave, and now it's just me and my wife, President Bush, and his service dog Sully. And I know this is the end. I can see what I'm walking into. And he's got a stack of books on his desk. And one of them is my book, The First Conspiracy. It's about the secret plot to kill George Washington. And Bush basically, I say to him, "Sir, you want to read from this book?" And he says, "Mm-hmm," because he can't speak anymore. It's just mm-hmm or uh-uh.
How old is he at this point?
Whatever age he died at. I forget what he's like 80 something. I think, I don't know if he hit 90. I forget.
Yeah, maybe.
So now the part that I bring to read to him is the moment where George Washington has the Declaration of Independence read to his troops for the first time. And 5 minutes into the chapter...
94, by the way.
90. Oh, he did make 90. Okay, good. 94. And so I get to those words, and he's sleeping. And so I'm like, I'm going to finish, be gone. And he's sleeping, and I get to those words we all know. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. And in that moment, President Bush's eyes pop open, and he's locked on me, wide awake.
Were you taking it back? Were you scared?
And I mean, he's wide awake, man. You're just like, it's like he got an infusion from the Declaration.
Wow.
And I say to him, "Sir," I get to the end of the chapter. I'm like, "Sir, you want to read another chapter?" He's like, "Uh-huh." And I get to the end of that. "You want to read another?" "Uh-huh." And another, "Uh-huh." And instead of being there for 5 or 10 minutes, I'm there for an hour. I said goodbye to him. I knew I'd never see him again. But to be able to read about the very first president to the oldest living president at that moment in time was like, that was the craziest government phone call I got for sure.
Maya Angelou's out in the hall looking at her watch. Jesus fucking
like,
Christ.
One
fucking chapter. You know when a guy pops up in front of you at the Comedy Store and he's supposed to do 10 minutes?
I'm supposed to do 10 minutes. I'm there for an hour. I'm
a minute 27 and you're lighting him.
Judy Blume is in the hallway like, fuck, dude, I thought I was supposed to be here at 2.
Right.
By the way, I would have Shel Silverstein, Stan and Jan Berenstein, and Roald Dahl at my deathbed.
Oh,
reading.
You're crazy. I would have Judy Blume in a heartbeat, and then, and Agatha Christie I'd pull.
I don't.
Also good options.
I've never read a book, so I couldn't. Oh, I read the Doors book, Nobody Gets Out of Here Alive. So, God, whoever wrote that one. That's the only book. Oh, and the Phantom Toll Booth.
Also
Whoever
good.
wrote the Phantom
Also
Toll Booth
good.
could come by and read me about tick and tock and a dog with a clock in him. And
how could you not, though? When you were younger, you didn't read. I used to read Judy Blume, Are You There, God, It's Me, Margaret, because I thought it was an instruction manual for girls. I was like, I'm going to figure out what a bra is right now.
Great. Yeah, I still don't know how to take it off.
Yeah, and he's wearing one.
Right now.
It's been a number of years now.
That's a great story, dude.
Brad, we're up against a break here. You want to hang with us and crack wise? We'll talk about anything in the next break. All right, Brad Meltzer's hanging. Adam's got a buzz going, and we'll be right back after this.
It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Hey, Adam, just listening to you guys talk about Norwegian wood, and from what I understand, Paul McCartney was talking about it on Howard Stern, and apparently John Lennon took a girl, or went to a girl's house thinking he was going to get laid. She shined him on, and then when she left for work, he lit the fire, which means masturbation, and apparently that's the gist of it. Get it on.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Adam Ray here, Brad Meltzer as well. I'm curious, Brad. We're talking about presidents, and you've got a lot of sort of inside info. It seems like folks are starting to turn on Biden, like they're finding these documents now. Well, when they find documents, your first question is you have to ask is, why do I know about it? Like, who found them? Why are they saying it? Now it's getting picked up on the news. It's not being sort of tamped down like Hunter Biden's laptop or something like that. Do we not want Biden? Do the powers that be not want Biden to run again? And this is the beginning of we're going to get rid of this guy?
No, listen, I'll tell you, first of all, I'm on the board of the National Archives. So I love the archives. I think that place is amazing, obviously, for those of us who love history. I don't think that there's what you just said, I do think, people are, you do feel like there's some kind of shit, but I don't think these things are kind of machinations of like, we're going to get him and we're going to, plant the documents in his Corvette so that he gets busted. I think that there are, as you always see, the National Archives, when you're the president, every day, or I should say once a week, there's a van that shows up at the White House and takes paperwork. Paperwork used to be obviously much bigger than it is now because so much is email, but literally comes up, pulls up to the White House, pulls in, and they're building your presidential library as your president.
Really?
And these things are going back and forth all the time because they want to document everything that's there. When you see stuff like this, obviously we're all fighting now. So if you're a Democrat, you're like, Trump took all those documents. If you're a Republican, you're like, oh man, now Biden's just as bad. And we just want to kind of make everything the equivalent. And I think there's also a difference when I'm just going to say it because I see it from the archives perspective. It's also, if you say, give me the documents back, and the dude doesn't give you the documents back, we have a problem, right? As far as like documents being everywhere, there's a woman in JFK's administration. The archives told me this story. It's crazy. His secretary, when she dies, had in her attic the tracking maps from the Bay of Pigs. And they were all in with JFK's signature on it. And it's not that she stole them, but JFK writes on them, puts his handwriting on them. And then he's like, get these out of here. And they don't know what to do with them. And at that point, the archives didn't have vans at that point. It was, back in the day. So she puts it in her attic. It's not till she dies we find them. So every presidency that you can imagine, there's somebody that has some form of documents. And to me, the threshold question is when we ask for them, do we get them back? And what you're seeing now is, I don't think the grand plan, but man, it's a disaster today. You know, obviously now they got a special counsel going and looking at it.
Adam's young and he's buzzed. Bay of Pigs, familiar with that?
Yeah, I'm also familiar with the Green Mile set in which Brad is zooming into us from. Could you get a more sketchy window next time,
Give us what you
Brad?
know about the Bay of Pigs, young Adam. And let me just say this. In the terms of names, Wolf's Lair, that is a killer name. Bay of Pigs, not going to Airbnb at the Bay of Pigs.
Yeah,
like we're just talking about we got the best name for a place and the worst name, although that was more of a mission. What do you know, Adam?
Bay of Pigs, if I were to take it all the way back to, I think, 1996, when I think I learned about what this was, we'll go Mrs. Who was teaching this? Maybe Mrs. Renstrom, who was my history teacher.
By the way, all history teachers have the best names.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Mrs. Renstrom. We also had Mr. Lowland, who never wore underwear and wore cotton shorts. He was also the cross-country coach. So he'd run 19 miles and then come in, not shower, and teach the class. I always had it right, starting the day off. And he'd put the girls had crushes on him.
Let's really just focus on the question here, Adam.
Well, it was daunting. It was the first time I saw a sweaty ball that wasn't mine up on a desk. I digress, Brad. Bay of Pigs.
On a desk?
Oh, he had the balls to Captain Morgan it at 8:30 in the morning in front of Lindsay Libby and Charlene Dietz.
I needed that key part of the picture, right?
What's that now?
The story that I was telling in my head is, he was running, you saw it, but the Captain Morgan of all is the part of the picture I needed.
Oh, bro, look, this is a guy pre-Me Too, probably had a lot. He was like the fun, flirty high school history teacher that,
fun and flirty is not
You're filibustering, Adam.
Yeah, okay, so Bay of Pigs. It's a place, I know that, right? Let's start there. It's where some shit went down. And look, is it just going on? If I'm going to Carmen San Diego this together, the Bay, I'm thinking of NorCal, Bay Area. Mm-hmm. Oh, shit. Did Michael Clark Duncan just blow the fuse? What the fuck happened?
I think I'm on hold on. I got to get the.
All right, I'll give you some hints. On Bay of Pigs. You ready?
Sure. By the way, say by the fucking light.
The Bay is on a
timing light.
The Bay is
Guantanamo Bay.
Is on an island.
Guantanamo?
No.
Where Harold and Kumar was filmed.
Yes. It's on an island, the Bay. Now you have to guess some popular islands.
Well, there's Honolulu.
Yeah. Beautiful island.
There's Fiji.
Another fantastic destination.
There's Epstein.
You kind of screwed him by shutting down what he had said.
What did I say? The Bay? NorCal?
You said Guantanamo.
Oof. Mm-hmm. Are we close?
Think
You
of that.
said no.
If you say yes.
That's true.
Say yes.
Is that where it was?
Yes. Guantanamo.
It was in Guantanamo Bay. Now, the pig part is where I'm a little lost.
It's associated with Cuba.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. And so, yes. And the pig part is
the Cuban sandwiches.
You know this part, Brad,
yeah.
but just share with the group. I can see Dawson's a little lost here. So it was what happened again?
You want to guess the year?
Guess the year. Oh, the year. That's what we're looking for. I'm going to go 1949.
That's
60
so far.
Fucking
By
wasn't
the way,
done,
I just
Brad.
said that
God
it was
damn
JFK.
it. Huh?
I literally said it was JFK. How do you guess 1949?
Because he thinks JFK was assassinated in 1951. That's why, because his teacher.
Here's what I know. My folks split up in 91. Two Girls, One Cup debuted in 2006.
Yeah.
Other than that, I got very few facts and figures.
He's distracted.
Distracted, yeah.
Let me tell you the coolest thing about the Bay of Pigs that you don't know, because I went with the USO to Cuba. They took me there to entertain the troops.
Wow.
And one of the things because we have obviously a base there, we have Guantanamo there, and they don't let you go. By the way, when you're the entertainment when I was there, this is fantastic. It was the two people that came before us, the two groups. It was the mixed martial arts fighters, the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders,
oh my God,
and then the authors.
And then you with Hitler bananas.
And it was, by the way, my friend was like, can you tape the audible sigh when they realize that the literary people are walking in the room?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Did you follow the cheerleaders?
Yeah. We literally followed the cheerleaders.
I mean, I know you followed them back to the hotel. But
initially, when Brad walks out on stage, there's a cheer because it's like, oh, good, Moby. We'll get some decent
Moby Bezos.
Some music up in this place. But then they find out
nice Moby. This guy's got fucking impressions too. Big fan.
So Bay of
So wait. Here's the thing. So here's the
Yes.
key thing: is across the bay, from where the Bay of Pigs and the invasion was in Cuba, there is actually a secret government island. It used to be secret. Now it's known, and you can tour it. They used to be called Devil's Island. One of the things that it held, it was back in the day when in the Civil War, we used to think the castles were designed, of course, in Europe to protect you. You had a castle, you had a big castle, no one could come and cross your path. And then once we started making guns, having brick walls that could be obliterated by, giant weapons, castles became useless. And so this island was built right off the coast of Florida, of course, because everything crazy is in Florida. But it's where Abraham Lincoln's killers, the ones who they didn't hang, we used it as their prison, and it's not far from the Bay of Pigs. So there's your little craziest thing. Not far from there.
Wow.
Can I ask a real quick question, Brad? You're, first of all, great to meet you. You're a solid dude. I'm really enjoying this interaction and this chat wholeheartedly. How many... Because I have Brad Williams, who's a great friend to all of us, great friend of the show, little person, great comedian, has a vast ability to, or amount of knowledge that he can hold on to. One of the things I love about him is he can just, recount facts and stats and names and whatever, but for shit that doesn't matter. You, I feel like on the opposite end of the spectrum, have a lot of stuff that is worthwhile at a party to bring up or fact check people.
I don't know, man. I think I'm doing better with you guys than I would do at a party with girls with information about the Bay of Pigs.
Well,
that's just not.
Yeah, yes. But no, you're crushing it. But when did you start to find that ability to go like, oh, wow, I not only have a zest for this territory, but I'm able to, is it just love of the game that allows you to be able to, speak so articulately about it all? Or do you truly have something in your brain where you're like, I see all this stuff?
No. It's not there's no Rayman thing. I mean, I think it's like Adam in Cars, right? You find room in your brain for your passion.
Gotcha.
I can do any obscure fact about comic books. There's room in my brain for it, and historical nonsense, especially about U.S. presidents. That's just what when you're swiping through Instagram and the algorithm figures your ass out and says this is what you like. That's what comes up on mine. That is where my brain just kind of goes on a daily basis.
You're a big comic guy, huh?
Huge guy. So I've written Superman, Batman. I've written Justice League. I've read Spider-Man. I do all that stuff.
Well,
too.
not to make you come in your pants, but I played Wolverine at Universal Studios from 2010 to 2013.
What color were you in? A yellow costume or a brown costume?
That's a personal question, Brad. It was navy blue with the yellow and.
So you have
a pic through LinkedIn.
Costume. That's good.
Yeah, it was nice.
Adam Ray, what year did the Hindenburg catch on fire?
Is this a trick question?
I'm curious with you in years.
This is going to be a great new recurring game, by the way.
Thing.
Called Does Adam Ray Know When It Happened?
But you got so far.
The Hindenburg, it caught fire, right? Is that what you said?
Yes. I don't know. I think I have an idea in my head.
Me too. I'm going to go. Can I give you a ballpark? Do you want? No, let's go in for an exact year. Let's go 1938.
37.
So close.
Oh, shit.
Close. That was good.
He's back. Oh, victory lap.
Gotta take a victory lap for that.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
I was impressed. You got close on that one.
I was about to breakdance, Brad. You couldn't see it.
Brad, when you're being contacted to read for W, right? George W. Bush?
HW.
Oh, HW, sorry. When you're being contacted, obviously you're thrilled, and it's an incredible honor. But at some point, do you talk money and accommodations? Airplane tickets cost money. Yeah. Hotels cost money. I'm going to bring my lady friend with you shouldn't be out of pocket because he requested you, Well,
So the thing that's funny is when I've gone to the White House. I've been to the White House for Clinton when they were president, I got a letter from Clinton. I got a letter from Bush. And when they invite you to the White House, one of them I lived in D.C., so that was a cheap ticket. This one, I know them because I do a lot of literacy events for the Bushes, and I do them for Clinton too. But there's no politics. They bring everyone in. They raise money for literacy. So I happened to be in Maine it was a twofer. So they let me do. They wanted to obviously raise money, and then they kind of were like, "Hey, come here. You can do this too." So I didn't have to pay for anything. They were very kind of for them to do it. But I think the thing that I thought you first meant is how'd you get all this money? And when you go to the Bush's house, Like, it's so funny because when I first met him years ago, he was in his prime. He spent the first 10 minutes that we were there trying to convince my wife that he invented the phrase "you to man." And I'm like, that's a quality joke. Like Bush, and my wife is like, did you know President Bush invented the phrase "you to man"? I'm like, no, he didn't. He's lying to you, and you're totally believing it. So that's what you actually wind up talking about with the president. And these guys love sports, so they always wind up talking sports.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of books, we started the show off by talking about The Pretenders and a song called Tattooed Love Boys, and a 1981 Pretenders' first record. And it turns out that while it's an upbeat song, it's not a good theme. I think it's about Chrissie Hynde being gang raped by bikers at a party.
It's a lot.
But we didn't really factually know exactly what went on. But Dawson has somehow found Chrissie Hynde's book.
Yeah, it's important to circle back on this and be very, very clear. And this will make it clear what happened. First of all, it should be said that Chrissie was high on Quaaludes. At the time, so she didn't really mind that much.
I don't think anyone at a biker bar is too low on anything.
Not sure. Minding is the way to describe it.
Yeah.
You're gonna get me too, Dawson.
This is
Jesus Christ.
I'm
literally just trying to save your ass right now.
But the book says she didn't mind that much.
I will get to that part.
All right, these are her own words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when she went with the bikers, she went alone. And she kind of started to realize that the party was going to be hosted exclusively by her, as the Tattooed Love Boys methodically unchained a series of padlocks to reveal a dark and noticeably empty house before shoving me into a dank den. I was led upstairs to another dark room with the smell of a dissection table. Now, here's what the guys said. And she says, I take full responsibility. You can't fuck around with people, especially people who wear I Heart Rape and On Your Knees badges. Get your fucking clothes off. But shut the fuck up. Can I just hurry up? We got shit to do. Do you guys shut the fuck up and get them off, or we'll tie you up in the attic and get to you later. But if you want, hit her in the back of the head so it doesn't leave a mark. Oh no, that's not you. You're too skinny, rock star. You ought to eat at McDonald's more. Hey, I don't. Shut up or you're going to make some plastic surgeon rich. But I can't. Stop talking and start sucking.
You sure this isn't a transcript from my circumcision?
Oh my God.
So it's
Wolf
important.
starting to sound pretty nice right now.
It's important to say that it was certainly an assault, but not a gang rape. Now here she says, the good thing about Quaaludes, I wasn't duly perturbed.
Well, that's her own words.
So I'm just reading the book, bro.
Now, I take umbrage with the part where he called her a rock star, because this is before their first album. This is before their first album. Because this song made it onto their first album, but she was probably locally making the scene.
And I tried to see where this happened. The only thing that's clear, 100% clear, is that it's not in Akron, and it seems to be somewhere in Europe. Either London, Spain is mentioned, and there's mention of Germany in this chapter too. So it's somewhere in
back on the table.
Somewhere in Europe.
I bet George Bush didn't want her to come read that chapter.
Let me tell you something. Can you imagine though, like that you have your worst moment, you somehow take your worst, most greatest horror, and you turn it and shape it into art that you were able to then, whether it's channel your ghosts or get rid of them. And then you spend the rest of your life singing of your worst moment. I mean, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, but in a world where we keep telling everyone that they have to kind of control the narrative or own it or, conquer it, or, you're not a rape victim, you're a rape survivor and all this kind of stuff. I bet this is a lot better therapeutically than just walking around as a broken shell of a person feeling like a crazed victim. Like you read, like Prince Harry, I don't know, his fucking brother called him a douchebag in 1998 and he's still fucking not over it.
That's like chapter 4.
He should have wrote a song about his brother calling him a douchebag and fucking owned it.
Definitely a way to take ownership of it and take control over it.
100%. No, that's survival, man. She's totally taking control of it.
Yeah.
They have to sing it every night?
No, because they have enough hits now where she probably doesn't need to do that deep cut. But it turns out Brass in Pocket was a song about brass knuckles. A biker popped her and raped her with it. I don't know if you know about that one either. Every kid is the illegitimate kid she had after the biker. No.
Yeah, all the some of those song titles are a little too on the nose.
Yeah, I'd say so.
It's like Dirte, my white rapper brother-in-law, Brad, has a lot of song titles that are appropriately about some of the shit he's going through, and sometimes to a T, to where you're like, I feel like this could be discussed behind closed doors and not through iTunes tracks. Like titles like, you know, is this my life? Should I stick it out? You know, fucking watch your back.
Does my
Adam.
wife suck?
Yeah, does my wife suck? Yeah, who is Brad Meltzer? Yeah. So, Brad, I want to ask you a question. Your book, The Nazi Conspiracy: Secret Plots to Kill Roosevelt, Stalin, and Churchill, available now. Do people ask you the way people probably ask Adam and I, hey, who are your favorite comics? Who are your favorite, like, do you read yourself, or are you so, like, I can only speak for myself, but
I read myself. By the way, you just revealed that you watch yourself.
For pleasure. Yeah, I have to watch my sets to, like, take notes. Do you, like, read yourself to, like...
Yeah, I never, anything I work on, I never go back and read it. And because, you know why? Because you can change your set. You're using it because you want to get better. And I get that. That's a wonderful thing. Like, to me, I edit and try and get it better. But once it's done, I can't make it any better. It's in print. It's done. I never want to. I go forward. I think you got to go forward.
Well, the same way that a comic will put a special out and go, fuck. And then, like, you know, even a week or a month later, you could wake up in a cold meat sweat to, like, fuck, there's an extra tag to this bit. Do you do that with writing, or is it
I do
done?
that. I could take any book. I could take any book right now that you gave me, anything that I've written, the best-selling one, and you give it back to me, and I'll find something wrong to make it better. Because my friends who are comics, like, you know, the one things that writers in comics, we just, you know, are our own worst enemies, and we will, and I do think that's your, you know, always your greatest strength is your greatest weakness.
1,000%.
I do it.
That ability is what makes you guys great. Your ability to say, let me look at myself, tear myself apart, and then find a stronger thing. I remember once they told me the book was done. I was a last sentence. I never do this, but the last sentence has to be perfect. And I wrote it, I put it in, FedEx guy came and I scheduled it. And as he got there, I was like, you know what? I'm sorry, bud. I'm like, I got to take this back. And I went and opened it and I did another sentence. I scheduled it again. He came to the house a second time and I was like, I'm so sorry. I can do it again. And I took it back. And my wife finally, when I went to do it a third time, she's like, you're done. You're done,
yeah, because what if he got pissed off at that point, opened it up and wrote, like, you know, fuck me in my
everybody
butt. Like,
dies.
you know, what if he changed? Yeah, everybody dies and he changed the last word of your book. That's a roll of the dice.
said it was okay.
Yeah. By the way, FedExing the book, is that a roll of the dice, or is that how they do it?
No, I mean, that was the old way you did things. There was nothing to do. And you're not doing the whole book, you're just doing the edits, but I would be panicking because I'd always be like, you know, I just did the final edits. So, but now you just obviously, no one does it anymore. Now you just, you know, send it by email.
I don't sit and look at my old sets and pick them apart, but I do it with Adam Ray's stuff.
Yeah. I wake up to, well, first of all, I wake up to you up text with, like, just a picture of, like, a milk carton and a lost boy on the back. And Adam's like, do you know this guy?
Yeah.
You know, can we book him? And so then, and then I get, like, just constant feedback and notes. But that's how you get better. Do you have pals in the book business that, like, you commiserate with the same way we do about bits?
The thing about comedy and authors are the same thing, which is it's such a solitary thing that when you get a group of you together, it just becomes group therapy, right? I mean, I've been in the back of comedy clubs with my friends who do that. Like, it's group therapy back there, man. You know, and you're just always trying to figure out, like, not only what is everyone getting paid and what are you doing, but what's working and what's not. You hear about this, you hear about that. So I definitely have. I mean, you name the author, like, we all know each other, especially in the thriller side of things. And we need each other. Like, that's the only way we figure out, you know, what publishers are doing right, what they're doing wrong, who's screwing you, who's not. And I think, you know, part of it is, I think it's, you know, the only way to kind of get real information is from those people you trust. And we're all crazy in that own way, right? We live these kind of very internal lives. But same thing, like, I'm on book tour right now. And I know when you go on the road, like, you know, when you're trying out new material and, you know, I go city to city every day, same thing. But when you hear a joke hit, when I hear something hit, and that little moment when you know I got that one, and then you take that to yourself. I mean, I do the same thing when I'm at the end of book tour. I'm ready to crush the room. I'm like, I got it all worked out. And so I totally get what you do, but the thing for me is I don't have to watch it again because the book's done.
Right.
You have to keep going until you film your special, and then you're retired or you keep milking it.
Sure. Well, let me give the book a plug. The Nazi Conspiracy, The Secret Plot to Kill Roosevelt, Stalin, and Churchill. Brad Meltzer. Always a delight, my friend.
Yeah, real
Always
treat.
Good to talk to you.
Add me on the gram. When I come to
I
DC to do
appreciate
the
it. I will
improv.
add you. Yes, add me in there. Listen, love you guys. Thank you for supporting the books and for making sure we all go to hell with our Nazi jokes.
Always a pleasure. All right, let me tell you about electric e-bike. Yeah, love these things. I got one. My son rides the bejesus out of his. Always in the infield of the racetrack, Laguna Seca. But
how fast do they go? 50.
No,
like
but here's
26, 25,
27. He'll tell me he clocked it at 30 going down the hill on the way to the racetrack. Right? But here's the thing: you don't want to go faster than this bike can go on a bike. It feels fast, and you get around fast.
He covers so much ground.
We make it from my house to my shop. It takes 10 minutes in a car, and it takes 10 minutes with the electric e-bike. It's the exact same thing. Anyway, love this company, love these guys. Costs way less than the competition. As low as $133 per month. Electric XP 3.0, cover up to 45 miles on a single charge, up to 28 miles per hour. Optimized gearing, suspension, smooth ride. Electric e-bikes are foldable. You can throw them right in the back of the car. You don't have a truck or an SUV. Ships free, fully assembled. It's electric e-bike, right, Dawson?
Get out there and make this year your most adventurous one yet with electric e-bikes. Visit electricebikes.com to learn more. That's LECTRIC, ebikes.com.
All right, quick break and come back, hit some news stories right after this. All right, back. Adam Ray's here. He's got a little buzz happening.
Feeling good. Stand-up dates coming up.
Stand-up dates coming up. Let me make sure and tell you guys that, going to Magoobies. We're going to be there, too, the Joke House. January 26th to the 28th. Comedy Vault. That's in Illinois, and that's coming up February 16th through the 18th.
Shit ton of dates.
You go to Adam Carolla. I usually say go to adamcarolla.com for all my live dates, but go to adamraycomedy.com and get all the live dates in there. All right, what do we got, Max?
All right, well, before we get into some real news stories, this video has been going around, and I want to get your thoughts on it because we were talking about road rage.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So this TikTok has been going off, and even on Twitter too, where this guy parked, I think in like a handicap spot, just to drop something off, but a woman stops him, and she's not happy. So let's just watch some of it. We can pause it as we go.
I haven't seen it.
I want you to know that I called the police, and you're not going anywhere.
Why did you call the police?
Because you should have to pay for parking like an idiot.
Pay for I just dropping something off really quickly.
I don't really care what your reason is. The police are on their way, and I'm just really tired of people like you with no respect for how
the police are not coming.
Yes, they are coming.
No, they are not.
Yes, they are coming.
For what?
To give you a ticket.
For what?
She's also riding in shotgun. She's not even driving.
Not a thing.
Yeah,
so she's got too much time on her hands already.
Is she boxed in by her?
Yeah, so it'll explain it too, but yeah, so he can't go anywhere now. So he's filming her, like trapping him, saying, "Hey, I called the cops. Just heads up, you didn't pay for this spot."
You have to know.
Oh, did he call the cops too?
No, she called the cops.
I know she did, but at some point you can call the cops on her for boxing you in.
Well, we'll see, but you know how we talked about, the backside of a phone is one of the scariest things you can see.
Isn't it reason enough to not be a cunt because you like just knowing that you can be taped and the viral potential? This now ain't going anywhere, and all her friends are going to bring it up. She's talking herself out of invites to parties.
Riding shotgun.
She's got so much time on her hands.
Yeah, she's sitting shotgun. So I don't know where the driver is or.
Oh, bro, he left. There's a reason he left.
It gets better.
Yeah.
It gets better.
All right.
They are coming.
No, they are not.
Yes, they are coming.
For what?
To give you a ticket.
For what?
Parking like an idiot.
That's not a thing.
She's
There's
hilarious.
a law against it.
There's a law against
You're
it.
in handicap parking and you don't look handicapped.
I'm trying to leave right now, but you're not letting
You're not
me.
leaving.
Yes, I am. I'm gonna leave.
You're not leaving.
What?
Oh, there's a
You're
guy
not going
driving.
anywhere.
Oh,
What are you
there's a
doing?
guy.
I'm just going to make sure you stay here.
She's hanging onto the
what?
car.
For what
God,
reason?
she looks like the woman from the
Are you-
Goonies that
you're
trapped him in the
filming me?
fucking
You're filming
basement.
me.
Now
Yes.
she's
You know why?
filming.
Why?
Because you're an idiot.
Because
I
I'm an
want
idiot.
proof of it. The
You want
police
proof
will
of
see
what?
this video. The proof that you park like an idiot.
You're filming me. That doesn't even show anything besides me.
You're behind the wheel.
Yeah, I know, but
I'm hanging on your car. Why would I do that unless you park like an idiot?
I don't know. This is
Gotta use a
insane.
different
I'm
word.
trying to leave. I dropped something off to my friend, and now I'm going to leave.
I don't really
understand.
care what your reason is. Double parking and causing other people to have to go around you. People have a life, you know. It's
Someone's
not
gonna
all
make a
about you.
silhouette of this
I'm not
picture
saying
of her
that
hugging
it
the
is.
mirror
doesn't
like
have
that.
a
I'm just
life.
trying to leave. Get off my
Those
mirror.
glasses.
You're not going anywhere.
Because you parked like an idiot.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do right now.
You're supposed to sit here and be still.
I bet you also double dip with your chips at parties you weren't
I am
invited
right now
to.
until they get here.
No, you're not.
Oh, yes, I am.
Oh, and
You know
guess what?
If I raised you, I would make you stay in your room.
Yo, slam, power.
Okay,
Drop the mic,
she's in
lady.
window, like hanging on my mirror right now. Because
I wish you would just Jean-Claude
not up to
Van
your
Damme
standards.
snap that mirror in
You know
half.
what? It's not up to anybody's standards. You see that sign right over there?
No.
It says no idiots
It says
allowed.
no idiots allowed. I was just going to say that she said that.
Wow.
Oh, man, Hindenburg.
No idiots allowed.
Well,
Now
hold
it's
on.
turned to
Oh.
we love her, right?
God, now, I mean, look, dude, there's a lot to unpack here. First of all,
Is her husband in the
That's
other
that was the
What
car?
is
first
he
question.
thinking?
Who's married to her?
He's parked there just going like, I'm just.
Do you think in the vows, I do if you're not an idiot. I mean, like, don't be an idiot in
You
our
literally-
marriage. Don't fuck me like an idiot.
If you're married to this shrew,
Oh.
you have to have a dart pistol on you at all times.
I feel bad for her.
That you use to like take down rhinos and
Yes.
stuff when
Oh,
you're going
yeah.
to tag a caribou or something.
Oh,
like
man.
you have to, you can't get out of the car and get her off. She
No.
needs to be darted,
Tranquilized.
and then tranquilized and brought back into the SUV.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has no shortage of complaint pages pulled up on her browser.
Let me say this, and you guys may disagree vehemently, but I can tell you this. I am very bad at what she's doing.
Yeah. Oh, you wouldn't call someone out like this.
I would never do any of this.
Yeah. You don't strike me as someone that would.
I'm the kind of person, if I asked for an everything bagel and you gave me an egg bagel, I would just eat it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go back. I don't send stuff back. I
Should
don't
be
even
commended for that behavior.
I don't even return stuff. Like if I bought shorts and they were too small, I'd just be like, well, I'll buy a bigger pair.
Sure.
My worst nightmare is confronting,
Causing a
dealing,
fuss.
doubling down,
Yeah.
turning back, talking to someone. That's me.
Because it makes you uncomfy, or you don't want to put them out?
Everything makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Everything to me is just keep walking.
Yeah.
I live and let live.
Yeah.
Why do I want to waste my time? But there are many times in my life where I do need this badger of a woman.
Sure. Behind you to speak for you.
This fucking
To fight your fight.
gray-haired honey badger with oversized Sophia Loren glasses on. And if I was married to her, I wouldn't treat it like a liability.
No.
I would have her doing my bidding.
She's an ally.
You know what I mean? Like
Excellent,
I
yeah.
get the wrong bagel, I'd be like, sweetie, go up
Yeah.
to the counter.
You don't have to
and
say
go-
much.
and
You
go
just look down
fucking-
at it.
And by the way, like if you ever with one of these people, they'll go, well, it's time to pay the hotel room. We're not paying the whole fucking hotel room. The fucking batteries were dead in the remote control.
And we're getting an upgrade next time.
Yeah, and they go march over there, and then they come back, and they go, we got $50 off, because I told them those batteries don't work in that universal remote. I'm not going to fucking pay full price. And I'm like, yes, go get them.
Yeah.
I'm going to be standing by this potted plant.
Yeah, we should be
crying.
weaponizing them.
You go get them. Now, you
There
don't
is
want to do it in the parking lot.
There is a special place in the shithead Hall of Fame for gals like this, where they do want to do the dirty work. And it's like, yeah, like the TV wasn't working for the first 30 minutes upon arrival at the La Quinta. And she goes, guess what? Guess who's staying at the presidential suite on July 4th at the La Quinta in Phoenix?
Yes. Yes.
Fucking-
That's what I'm saying is she is a weapon.
Yeah.
But a weapon in the right hands can be a powerful tool. Use this weapon.
Yeah.
I would use her to return. I'd get upgrades every fucking time I went to a hotel. Every time I flew commercially, we'd get put into the wide seat with the extra knee room just because I would just dispatch her. Go get them.
Oh, she could probably talk the pilot into letting her co-pilot
She
the
could
flight.
fly the plane.
Here's her problem. She's fighting the wrong fight.
I know.
Pick your battles.
Well, that's the whole thing. It needs to be controlled and used.
This is like Captain Planet, like going down and trying to do crowd control at a WWE event. You know,
That's
it's like,
right. It's
no, you got to
exactly-
focus
that's what
on.
I was going to say.
You got to focus on the tsunamis, CP. Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We all know that these rants, they're a little more palatable and can really get a point across when they're set to 70s soft rock.
Oh boy!
Wait, there's a mashup.
Got a
Let's
mashup.
see what happens.
coming
I
down
love me a
the
good
pipe.
mashup.
Sir, I want you to know that I called the police and you're not going anywhere.
Why did you call the police?
Because you should have to pay for parking like an idiot. The police are on their way.
I'm so in love with you.
And I'm just really tired of people like you with no respect
You want to do.
for how
The
to
police
park.
are not coming.
Yes, they are coming.
No, they are not.
Yes, they are coming.
For what?
To give you a ticket.
For what?
Parking like an idiot. You're gonna get a ticket.
Is this Al Green?
That's not a thing.
There is a law against it.
No, there's not.
That's might be my favorite line from the scene.
Adam.
Yeah.
Do
Not
you
going
think
anywhere.
there are
What are you
more
doing?
I'm
black
just gonna make
people
sure you stay here.
with the last name of White and Green over the last name Black? I think there may be more African Americans with
Yeah.
the last name of White and or Green, like AC Green, right?
Yep.
AC Green, Al Green,
Jack Black,
Jack
Karen
Black,
Black,
Betty White, Sean White.
aha, or something.
Yeah.
So I still don't get how this guy's boxed in.
Well-
She's parked next to him, right?
Do you want to see more?
She's
There's
got a
a little
firm
bit more.
grip on that
There's more.
mirror.
All right.
And I didn't see her husband. Her husband's just driving
Yeah.
the other car.
He's not really
That's
in the,
the
video,
interview
but he's
that
just
we
sitting.
need.
He's just sitting, looking straight out the windshield.
That's the sit down. Do you think he was walking out of the Target with a bag, saw this, and just walked back in?
Let me say this. I don't know, Adam, what your jam is when it comes to porn, but a lot of fellas like the cuckold porn. This is the real deal.
Yeah,
you
this
know,
is
the
it.
stuff on you jerk or you cum or you jizz or whatever it is.
You idiot.
That's all staged.
I like youidiot.com. It's just ladies yelling at me to come. You idiot, come already. I'm like,
Cuckolding
Jesus,
porn
you
is,
don't even live here.
is staged.
Yeah.
That's all made up.
What?
Pure fantasy. This is real cuckolding. The fact that this pee-whip dude, her husband,
Yeah.
does not get out of the car after minute 13 and go, what the fuck? First off, she said in her soliloquy that people have their lives to live. I would throw that right back at her.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like, baby, I've been sitting here listening to Sirius XM for 22 minutes while you barnacled yourself on the side of an F-150. What about my life?
Sure.
I got a life to live.
Well, that's always the biggest question is like, what's going on with her where this is taking precedence, like for her to try to handle. Also, again, like just going back to like pick your battles, how many fights in this vicinity is she, trying to be involved with?
And
Like,
I don't.
Is
It's
this the first
unclear
person
that
she's
not-
accosted?
No,
she's not even
absolutely not.
handicapped. Like
Totally.
If she was handicapped, I get a little motivation. Like
There's that great episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm where Larry used the handicap stall, and then a
right.
guy wheels in, and Larry walks out of the stall, and the guy goes, "What the hell, man?" And Larry goes, "What?" He goes, "You're using my stall." He goes, "Nobody was in here." He's like, "Oh, of course, man. Of course you just say that." Yeah, dude, but like that's for us, man. You have plenty of other options. Like, yeah, you fucking weren't here. Like,
Yeah, Adam, there's something in like your DNA that causes you to be a little more confrontational. Like, remember, there's been times when I've been on planes, and one time I was using my cell phone, and a guy just raised his hand and told on me.
Yeah. Oh, I've had that happen to
before
me
we took
too.
off.
I've had that
Yeah, it's
happen.
like, are you kidding me? Yeah.
Or they just lean over. What's even worse is when they just lean over and go, "You got to put that away." Oof.
Yeah.
I've had that happen, and I just go,
Wow.
I'll do it. I'll do it in just a couple seconds. We haven't taken off yet. We're about to. You think it's going to fuck with the plane?
If the guy next to me on the Southwest flight was cooking meth, I wouldn't alert anybody. I would just close my eyes and tilt my ball cap down and try to see if I can get a
Eat your
little.
egg
You hear
bagel.
that, Brad
Yeah.
Meltzer? If you're ever sitting next to Adam Carolla
That's right.
in the C group.
All right.
Want to watch a little more?
Yeah, a little more.
All right.
I'm gonna leave.
No, you're not.
What? Like, you can't just hold me hostage.
Yes,
here.
I can.
For what?
You're gonna get a ticket.
For what?
To
I don't
help pay for the
understand.
city with the potholes. Your tickets help pay for
Oh, wait.
potholes. And if
Pause
there's
it.
somebody
Stop
could-
stop real quick. So this gives me a little insight into her concern with what's going on in the cul-de-sac, the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
We got some holes that need to be filled.
It's not just about her.
It's not just a catchy biker bar song. There's a lot of holes that need to be filled, and she panicked though. You could see in her eyes. He's like, what the fuck is this money from the ticket going towards? Mm-hmm. And she doesn't give a fuck about the potholes.
I still can't figure out where her husband is. I can't
Is there?
see.
Do we get the conclusion?
He's sitting. He's just sitting.
He is.
Yeah.
We're gonna pull back and see him.
Well, no, I saw him flash by as a camera pan right a little bit. But here's some more.
Potholes, and at least there's some good that could come from you being an idiot.
So you're gonna hold me hostage because you're trying to help out the potholes?
Yeah.
I'm trying to help out the city. I am a good citizen.
By holding me randomly hostage?
Yes.
That is not being a good citizen.
Citizen's arrest.
You can't put me under citizen's arrest.
Yes, I can. Until the police come, I sure can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can. And if you move this truck, you're going to hurt me. And if you hurt me, I'm going to sue you. So then you're going to be in a whole world of trouble.
You can't sue me. You're hanging on my car.
I can sue you if I feel like it. What's your name?
You're going to sue me for... I'm not going to tell you my name.
What's your name?
Donald Duck.
Donald Duck.
Yes.
All right. Wow, that tells me a lot about your mentality and why you would park like an idiot.
Oh, wait a second. Okay, love
Hold
this
on.
guy. Can we give his fucking page a plug? I mean, Donald Duck, and she didn't know what to do. This is why comedy cures, because it almost cut through her bullshit and made her laugh. There was a moment, I don't know if you could feel it, where she was like, that's a fucking crazy name to say. And even though I'm a huge bitch, that was kind of funny. And the timing of it almost made me like take a step back and go, maybe I'm out of control.
Caught off guard.
But she just goes, lets me know where you are mentally, where you think you're a cartoon, is what she thought.
You know what I always love about people like this? That woman, I guarantee, when she finally unlashes herself from the Ford F-150.
She might still be there, by the way.
By the way,
no video
I
left.
called that truck. I think that could be a Ford F-150. It could be a 250. Anyway, point is this. She will then go home, and when she enters her home, there will be a small dog. And she will be saccharine sweet to that. She will grab the dog, and she'll go, ooh, little tushy, sushi, and the dog will lick its face. People that are horrible, shrew bitches are always 10 times nicer to their dogs.
Yeah.
That's
Love the dogs.
my algorithm.
Gotcha.
Like Marge Schott was a horrible, horrible racist owner of the
Cincinnati Reds.
But she loved her fucking St. Bernard. Like they always, there's some sort of middle ground. It's like, I like my dog, but I don't love my dog. I like my dog and I'm nice to my dog, but I kiss it when I get home and have it lick my. The worst people on the planet are always extra saccharine sweetie. Like you see it on those like Real Housewives things where like they're holding the teacup poodle and they're screaming at their publicist and they're screaming at the hair lady.
Sorry you had to hear
as soon as
that.
they hung up, there's like, do not trust people that are too nice to their dogs. I guarantee this woman pampers the shit out of her dog. Now, what I would like if she brought some of that hostility home to the dog and it was at least consistent.
Yeah.
Like she just walked in the door and kicked the dog. What the fuck you still doing here, you bag of fleas? Like, but she won't. She'll be the greatest.
She'll be sweet.
And she'll be crazy saccharine sweet to like the 4-year-old grandkids too.
Oh, they have no
It's
clue.
a weird pendulum of crazed anger to strangers and way over the top.
Yeah.
We're going to make a gingerbread house to the little Luca, the 5-year-old grandson.
I'm 100% sure you're right about the small dog because this had to have happened at a condo complex.
Yeah.
There was a homeowners association, and I'm sure she sits on the board of directors.
Oh, yeah. And this
She is
probably-
I've seen these women.
This issue was
I've
brought
lived
up.
with these people.
Yes.
Now, do you think she, how many of her friends are smoking a J, kicking back, throwing up TikTok on the TV, and watching this video and commentating on it like we are? She's got to have friends that are just like, yo, we were all looking for a sign to separate from Marjorie, and this might be it.
I always, my feeling is always the spouse. It's never the person. It's what is the other person doing.
Someone's driving her to this.
See, he's putting
it's
up
like,
with it because she's getting him the free hotel rooms and the refunds. He's like, this is
I don't know. She was
collateral.
going. She was constant dead end, like same jargon, idiot, ticket. You got to mix it up.
We got to get to my dialysis appointment.
you know.
Oh
It's
yeah.
Can you let
If
go
you
of
won't
that
die
truck,
for this
please?
cause,
Yeah.
Eddie.
Now, the guys in the truck could slowly start backing out and roll the window up.
Yeah.
But
so she could sue him.
I do remember once, sadly, poor departed friend Philip the Juggler. He had a dog that he was lukewarm on, and he took. one of the biggest bummer ticket ever. The most expensive ticket you can get is parking in the handicap zone.
Yes.
Like, parking in the red zone, $45, $60, and parking in the yellow zone or meter expired, or these are all $60, $80. I don't know what they are. Parking in the handicap, you got to look it up, Ben. I mean, in California, parking in handicap's got to be $400+ bucks. It's the most expensive one. He had this dog, this big, beautiful dog, and he lived in like Encino or something like that, and there was a park near the house, and he lived in a condo, and he would have to take his dog out at night, 6, 7 in the evening. He'd take the dog out for exercise in the park. No one was in the park, and he'd bring the tennis ball, and he'd run the dog around a little, and he'd come back in. And he pulled into an empty parking lot at the park, minimum $250, max $500. He pulled into a completely empty parking lot and just pulled straight in and just parked straight because there was no one else in the parking lot, and that was where the curb was with the dog. He was in the handicap zone. Fucker wrote him a ticket while he was throwing his dog the ball. He could have parked 8 feet to the left or 8 feet to the right or any other way. It was just wide open, and he didn't even care. He just pulled straight, got out of the car like this guy did, got a $400 ticket.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Part of me wants to believe that this gal, morphed into this bag of shit. But, I don't know. Are you born this way?
Well, that's the other thing, too.
At 5, was she just
there's something...
You can't use that, Clay. You're a Jew.
This is the problem with retirees. Once you retire, you shouldn't be able to leave the house, and you must live in a home. And I'll tell you why. Because every fucking horrible neighbor I've ever had was retired and at home.
Yeah.
And so whenever any shit goes down, they're just there. They're like a fucking Ring doorbell.
Yeah.
They never leave the stoop. They're always... the best thing you could have in a roommate is busy. The best roommate you'll ever have is the dude who travels a lot and is out all the time and is fucking on that treadmill. Like the worst one you'll ever have is the unemployed, a little depressed, putting on weight one.
Remember your neighbor that got mad when I parked in front of her house?
Retell that story just because it is insane. I had a woman. I forget about her because every house, and I've told this to everyone. We were talking about what is racism, or if Kevin Costner did that to Regina, whatever, there'd be a hall. I have said 1 million times that the neighbors I have had living all over Los Angeles and doing horrific things to me without any provocation, no motivation, just being horrible. If I was a black family, I would think they were racist. There'd be no other conclusion. Chris will tell the story. This is now my 5th house where I have a horrible neighbor. She lived directly across the street from our house. Like when you walked out the front door, you're just staring at her front door.
And she's staring at you.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I parked You
came to my house.
I went to his house because we were going to Long Beach Grand Prix and we wanted a carpool. And so I parked in front of his neighbor's house across the street. Just like on a parallel park to the curb.
Side street.
No
red zones.
Nothing. It was just
nothing.
Yeah,
just
you're parking on a residential street.
Street park.
Yeah, and Adam and I get in his car and we go off to the Long Beach Grand Prix. And he has people working on his house at this time. And I'm getting so many texts that this lady is coming over and complaining about this car parked in front of her house. I have the keys, so they can't do anything about it. And then so they keep calling me and texting like, hey, she will not leave us alone. Like, we got to move this car. She's leaving notes on my car.
A random weekday, and somebody's just parked on a side street.
On the street that she doesn't own,
Tuesday morning.
In front of her house.
Yeah.
Not blocking anything or doing anything. She's not like, I got a cube van that's arriving at 3. He's just parallel parked amongst other cars parked on a side street.
Yeah, and then so we were at the Long Beach Grand Prix. I'm getting calls and texts all day because she won't leave him alone. And then we're finally going back home now.
It's a long day.
It's now night.
Who's calling
it's like
you?
9 o'clock.
Who's reaching out to you about this issue?
The people at his house who's working on his house.
She's walking across to my house.
Yeah. to complain.
First off,
her
why?
reasons were
See,
great.
this is the problem. You shouldn't be home. You shouldn't be home all day on a Tuesday. If you got up and went to fucking work, but she goes across the street and she's like interrupting my guys that are working on my house, going, "What do you know about this car?"
Yeah. And she's like, I need this space for when my guests come over, and I need them to be able to get out of their car and walk into my house, and you're blocking that path, which I wasn't. And by the way, no guests coming over to her house either. And so now it's late at night. It's like 9:30, and we're driving back, and Adams Street's really dark.
She's leaving notes on the car. She's talking to my guy.
She left a note.
How's her penmanship?
Oh, it's very good. She's very good penmanship. But so she left a note. I remember, and Rob, one of Adam's guys, takes off the note and takes a picture of it and sends it to me and walks away. Now that he's taken off the, she leaves another note on it because the note was taken off.
God.
And then so we're driving back over. It's like 9:30 at night, and now in my brain I'm like, I do not want to run into this lady. I just want to jump in my car and go.
It's dark. It's quiet.
I don't trust
It's
her.
a dark residential street, side street, and it's like 9:30, and I'm like, Chris, I'm just going to stop right your car. You're going to pop out. You're going to jump in your car and put it in drive, and that entire thing's going to be under 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, it will be. Like, people don't know what 30 seconds is. 30 seconds is plenty of time for you to pop out, jump in, hit go, and take off into the night.
And that's what we do. So he pulls up next to my car. I jump in my car. I put my seatbelt on. And then everything looks good. I turn the headlights on.
She's standing in front of you, right in front of my car.
She's standing in front of the car.
I was just about to say, please tell me she's standing in front, Psycho style.
Look, she.
Oh my! Nude or what? In a robe?
Bathrobe.
Okay.
She wouldn't have had
the titties cut out.
I wish.
And what we were doing, and what we were in our transaction, what we were trying to do, if she spotted me rolling up and stopping, she had no information. That car could have been parked there for 3 days. We could have come back at 2 a.m. She didn't know we're coming back at 9:30 at night. Right? I slid in. It's maybe she had a scout with a walkie-talkie going, "Here comes Carolla's Jag" or something. But I just slid in. He popped out. If she'd been in the kitchen washing dishes and seen me slide up, that wouldn't have been enough time.
No, she had
wouldn't
been
have been
like
enough time for her to get out
in her driveway. Or
she
something.
had to be standing outside.
She was hiding behind the tree.
waiting. She had to go wait.
Yeah,
she could have been in the fucking tree like a hawk or an owl, and she could have,
She had to go wait outside for this Prius that parked in front of her house, totally legally. On a side street on a weekday.
Physically impossible for her to get from indoors to in front of my car in the amount of time that we were on that street.
Downtime is sanity's kryptonite.
Yes.
Too much things for her to consider an actual issue when you're just chilling like a villain.
If you said to me, like, Adam, just that entire scenario that played out, right? If they said, what would you more likely do? That or set a hobo on fire? I'd be like, I would probably set a hobo on fire before I did whatever this crazy shrew did. First things, just walking outside, putting notes, knocking on doors.
Like, a lot.
You're saying, what's the meaning of this? Except for there's nothing. I mean, to give the devil her shrew due, this guy did park in a handicap zone.
Yes.
He did run out. And people have done that. You go, I'm going to park for a minute. I'm going to run in. I'm going to drop
There's
this
some
thing
people
out.
that think that's not the way to do it, and some people that go, what are you going to do?
It's open for debate.
Yes.
What Chris did is not open to any debate.
No.
There's no calling of cops. There's nothing you can do. It's just you parked on a street.
Yeah.
Do you think she's got a gaggle of pals that when she shares the story, she goes, you'll never believe what happened? They're on her side, or they're
I
like, you
used
crazy
to come
bitch,
out
move.
and argue with my nanny when my nanny parked on the street too. Like, she literally would walk across the street and like knock on the door. Like, what are you doing parking on the street when you're parking on the street?
I heard she had a bad reputation with all your neighbors. She's like
Neighbor
the only
reputation,
one,
yeah.
she's the only one posting on the Nextdoor app over there.
Is she like the leader of the neighborhood watch? Like, does she do anything to contribute to the cul-de-sac?
She'd be good.
Or is she always taken?
I have to live directly across the street from this crazy bitch, right? So it's like, how much mixing it up do I want to do? Like, how much do I want to go over there and settle her hash? Olga told her to shut the fuck up at a certain point.
Is she married?
I had that with neighbors.
Does she have anyone to?
They're younger people that are about that could change her course just a little. That's the whole point. If you're in that house and Ernestine is going out for the 33rd time, this time bivouacking on the lawn to catch a Prius, I would fucking tackle that bitch and drag her back in the house and fucking lock the door like they did on Hateful Eight. Like I would get a fucking 2x4 and a hammer and I'd start screaming, use another nail, and I'd bang on. I'd be like, you are not going anywhere. You're clinically insane.
Yeah.
You're making me seem nuts too by virtue of fact that we have to live under the same fucking roof.
Yeah.
There's a car parked on the street. That's perfectly fine.
Because people go walk or drive by and they see these like, back and forths and they go, oh, this is the crazy corner part of the neighborhood.
Yeah. Right. Now, if you happen to be a nationality, but if you were black, there's no other way this could be nothing but racism. Like if she saw you get out of the car or something.
Because it would be.
If you're black, this would be there'd be no other conclusion. It'd be impossible to draw another conclusion. What is this person's motivation?
Yeah. Luckily, she didn't attach herself to my side mirror, but she was banging on my window trying to talk to me and tell me how I can't park there anymore. And because I am my nationality, I can do the I don't really speak very good English.
Oh, that's good.
As I slowly accelerate away.
You could probably pull off Mexican.
I could.
I mean, if you had to.
Yeah.
Well,
and by the way, Chris has been to my house one time. Like this thing, you can't come back. This is not going to work.
Go on,
next time. Oh God.
Hey, Dawson, hit me with a little soft piano real quick, okay? And this is one thing we talk about on every other sweeps week of shows of Dr. Phil, Adam. I talk about making someone else's problems your problems, okay? Because life gets tough enough, it gets rough enough, as we know from our biker bar anecdotes, okay? And what I think, go for it. Yeah, you can hit it. Hit me with it real quick.
Yeah, it's
for sure.
Too classical.
Yeah. What is this, the fucking Folgers Coffee soundtrack? Okay.
Go ahead, Doc.
So I just think that as we go through life, as we make changes in the stages of our curiosity and our, day in and day out, you look in the mirror, you say, I don't like what I look like. And it's true. I don't like most people that I come across. If I'm at a coffee bean and someone orders more than 3 different directions in their coffee, I want to shank them in the asshole with a plastic fork, which is actually more dangerous than a metal fork. You just have to know where to stick it and where to drive it. We'll be right back. We'll keep it right here. I think if you want to figure out how to make the best possible version of yourself and not be a cunt, okay, with a capital K, you need to find things to do, whether that's a crossword puzzle or here's a simple move for this gal, okay? And I feel for her because there's all parts of life where you go, I have not been pleasured. And that's where this derives from, Adam. She's coming outside because she can't come inside of herself. So here's what you do, sweetheart, if you're listening, and I know you are, okay, you fucking twat. Take 2 fingers, maybe a pointer and a ring, or even a thumb and a pinky, lick them, lather them, bathe them and shave them, stick them right up inside you, and just pretend that you're trying to get a gerbil to come out of its fucking pillowcase. What's that?
I got to do Jesse Waters' show in about an hour and 15
Fair
minutes.
enough. Who touched you? We'll be right back. But I'm just saying, take care of you before you can take care of others.
No, I get it. That's good. That's good
I
advice.
digress. Agree to disagree. Circle gets a square.
All right. Adam Ray, Young Rock, of course, and then also all the live shows coming up.
Tons.
Adam Ray Comedy.
Now through August. Thanks,
Just
buddy.
go there. Brad Meltzer, the Nazi Conspiracy.
And let us know how you enjoyed Buzz Adam Ray on today's program. Felt good? Felt dialed in?
2 thumbs up. Dialed in.
Didn't skip a beat.
Dallas Working Blue with John Popper. That's coming up January 20th through 21st. You can reserve your spot exclusively at AdamCarolla.com, and I'm coming everywhere too, so go to AdamCarolla.com for that. And until next time, it's Adam Carolla for Brad Meltzer, Adam Ray, Chris Maxipata saying mahalo.